want to see you actually sit in the car, see how much room we got to work with.
Once you get in, it's kind of okay.
This should change the whole look of that car.
We're going to be putting LS in this thing. Is this possible? I'm not sure yet. 2020 Denali 2500. This big truck isn't big enough.
I have free reign to do whatever we want to do.
Whatever you want.
And it's going to be a surprise to this guy's wife.
I'll let my wife hear this.
Man, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Man, you're just wishing one day you can get to that point where you can build the way you want to build, because the owners trust you to make it perfect. We're reaching that point now as a business. You know, that comes with a whole lot of pressure to get it right. Case in point, John Cena's 69 MGC. Here's a massive celebrity giving me free reign to make it cool.
Hello.
Pleasure to meet you, man. Finally in person.
Very, very nice
It is
to meet
so
you.
good to be here. I can't tell you how happy I am and excited I am. This is
Man,
awesome.
I'm really excited for you to come in too. I mean,
So
I know Val is.
Pleasure to meet you, Bill. I'm John.
Likewise.
John shipped his MG to us, but we never met in person. This would be the first MG I've ever worked on. One of the things that stood out right away is its size. After looking at the car, seeing how small this MG is, and just seeing John Cena, he just looks humongous. MG, it's a small car.
It is.
And I'm really concerned about you being uncomfortable in
Is
this.
this the large guy, small car?
There's a little something to
Okay,
do
you
with that,
danced around that pretty good, but yeah, all right. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. Literally, I'm not fit for an MG. So how do we do that?
to see how you fit, to see how much room we got to work with.
Okay, so this is actually really like not only a custom build for my taste, but a custom build for my size.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely in. I'll have a bespoke car, custom tailored to me. That sounds awesome. Shall we see this thing?
Let's go check it out.
All right, excellent. Man, it's so good to meet you. There it is, in a state of despair. Walking in and seeing the MG in the bay, it's bittersweet. Man, it's such a beautiful car and has so much potential, but it's in a sad state. So it's bittersweet, but I'm excited to see what it can be.
Is this your first time laying eyes on it?
So I bought it online, and it was like, oh man, this is too good to be true. And then the place that received it was like, you got to come down and see it because it was too good to be true. And I was so disappointed. I can't wait to see what it can be. I can't wait to see what you can do with it, man.
You know, when we first talked this through, he told me he wanted a car he could drive fast and have a lot more power. We're swapping out the inline 6-cylinder with a built 6.2 LS, giving him a custom modified chassis with brand new suspension, wheels, tires, and a wide body kit to give it that racing look. Paint and handmade interior. This isn't your only British car.
No, I have a TC, but all of them are so effing small. Like even this is supposed to be a roomy coupe with a back seat. It's still really small.
You know, the main thing I wanted you to come in for is actually sit in the car to see how much we're working with. You know, I want to know how much room is in the foot well. I want to know, you know, how much, if we got to scoot the seat back or what.
Yeah. So because of the way the wheel sits, this is usually always my entrance. All right. Once you get in, it's kind of okay.
Once you're in.
Making the in easier.
Oh, definitely.
Like, this is always a problem.
One of the things right off the bat, we can add a tilt wheel to it. We flip it up and
Bingo.
and give you a
Or
lot
at
more
least
room.
some adjustable column in some sort of way.
Maybe scooting the seat down a little bit.
Yeah.
Scooting it back a little bit.
Why not?
You got about this much
I know.
headroom now. You hit a little bump and
Yeah. The saggy headliner doesn't help at all.
Scooting the firewall back is not an option. We got to move the seat back. Let John get his big-ass legs in there. I think his legs are bigger than my chest. What do you think about maybe even a six-pack?
I think we're sharing a brain here. I'm literally already one hand on the gear stick, so I would love a clutch and a manual shift.
In the transmission tunnel, if it had to come out an inch to add a pedal, are you cool with that?
I am.
All right.
I am. I have to do it. I never want to tell an artist how to paint, but I need you to keep this. I know this car is going to look so different when it's done, but this is like undeniably MG, and whatever you put in for a shifter, this has to be the top of the gear knob.
You got it.
I got my heart set on so much of this, but you're the artist, and I'm going to let you do your thing, so
Man, appreciate it.
I will remove myself from your office. Excellent.
But you want to go check out the shop?
Heck yeah, I do.
Let's go. You know, I'm kind of anxious to see the world's take on how extensive does MG. You know, we're totally up for the challenge, and we're definitely going to surprise a lot of people on this one.
Nice to meet you, Chris Staff.
What you doing here today, man? It's a good-looking truck.
Well, this is my wife's truck.
This is your wife's?
Yeah, man.
And that's a cool truck for your wife to be driving around in.
No doubt.
Man.
Daily driver, too. Takes the kids to school, grocery shopping, you know, the routine. I put in lift and wheels and tires for her, and she's not quite satisfied with them. And
what?
I decided, let's go bigger with it.
That's not big enough for her.
No, I don't think so.
Man, when a big truck rolls in the parking lot, I always get excited. But when the customer wants this big truck to be even bigger, I get really excited.
She's super into lifted trucks, man, and I think she kind of likes it when she's at the gas station and the guy next to her is asking her about her truck.
And she's in a way cooler truck than him.
No doubt, no doubt. And I can't wait to see her expression when she sees what you've created for her.
So this is a surprise for her?
Yeah, she thinks it's in the shop for a little bit of maintenance. So.
Man, I love it. What better gift to give your wife than a cool car, right? You know, obviously.
No doubt, man. And you know, you did it up on that, and your wife was happy, and I know that we're going to do the same thing here.
A car guy wanted to give his wife a gift. You know, I can totally relate. He wants his wife to have the biggest and the best. That's what we're doing. So I have free rein, big wheels, big tires, big axles, and just go crazy with the air suspension lift so she can totally adjust where she wants to ride.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Make it even bigger.
Yeah, man, you're talking my language.
Because this truck's going to be so huge, we got to put some retractable steps. It's got wife, kids, we got to make them comfortable. The black plastics around the wheel openings, color match that to really make it not only big, but have that classiness to it also.
Nice. I like it.
And of course, color match everything underneath too. We'll make you something real cool.
Awesome.
Most people, when they hear there's a lifted truck, we're going to make higher, get it in, change the springs out, add a little lift to it, put a little bit bigger wheel and tire, definitely not going to do that. Anywhere else in the world, this is top of the line. You can't get better than this. 2500 truck, it's already big, it's already lifted, it's huge, but we're in Texas. Dealerships customizing like this here in Texas, so we're gonna take this, attack it, and make Chris a totally unique, totally custom truck. Nice truck. It is, right? Mm-hmm. 2020 Denali 2500. Already got a lift, big wheels and tires on it. It's a cool truck. So why is it here? This big truck isn't big enough. He wants it way bigger. And it's going to be a surprise for this guy's wife.
I'll let my wife hear this.
Can you imagine being the neighbor and the wife's talk and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you got her a truck. I got you some flowers.
It's going to ruin the whole neighborhood.
So you say a lot bigger. It's like, what are you thinking? Put it on the lift and cut everything out. Slick frame rails, front to back. No hangers, no nothing. Independent front suspension. Doesn't look as impressive as a straight axle in the front. So we're going to put a straight axle, front and rear, matching axles with air suspension on it too. Give her that adjustability, that good ride, our signature 2 bends all throughout. Big wheels, big tires, at least 42s on it. And just that big, mean, massive look. How tall is she? Well, I don't know. She might need a ladder, but, you know, getting rid of the old Nerf bars, paint the frame, color match all the black plastics and everything, and a ton of underlight. The poor guys, they're going to put now, they're going to feel bad after this one. And now we have this thing in the air. So I'm going to now strip all this stuff down, put it on a couple pallets. It already has a lift kit on it, so we'll put this lift kit back on the pallet, give it back to the owner. If he wants to sell it, give it to somebody else or whatever, that's up to him. That's all I needed. We got the drive shaft removed. Now to remove the shocks. When I get it done with all that, I'm going to disconnect the U-bolts and this whole rear end to drop down with the wheels on it so we can roll it out of here. As far as geometry, we're not going to use none of this stuff. The hangers, the bump stops, we want a completely clean slate. So we're going to come through, torch all that off, grind it back down, and from here to here it'll be completely fresh. It'll allow us to put our pipes wherever we want, however we want to build it, we can build it. Finding parts these days has been a nightmare. But as fabricators, you don't have to wait to get what you need. You got to make what you need. We took everything off that truck that was stock, so we need some straight axles to put underneath it. So you don't want to PS while it'll be messed up. So for that, we're just going to change it all over to power stroke axles. We have this donor 250 frame laying around. We'll simply drop these out, clean these axles up, and then we'll start fresh with our own brackets ready for the 4-lane. What we want to do is make sure the front axle and the back axle are identical. So I can take this laser, jack this up to right where the top hits the laser. Then we know this one and that one are perfectly parallel and they're both level. This gives a great foundation to build everything off of. We got our axles in place, got the truck where it needs to be. Next thing is making the drop down itself. We're going to make a plate that'll bolt to the frame, tie everything together, and we'll have a spot to make our 4-link bolt to the truck. You see the general idea where the 4-link bars are going to be, where they're going to hit on our plate once we burn it out. From the bottom of the frame. So the only thing I need to really establish now is just a kind of a flowing design. You know, I do this with the chipboard so you can kind of see exactly what the finished part is going to look like. Hey, that's me. Check it out, man. Burn it out a 1/4 inch. All right, it's going to be a lot longer 4-link, you know, than other ones we built in the past. So that's why these are so close together. I think it's going to look real cool.
All I'm doing here is just laying out my measurements and bring them back onto my computer and just cut it out right on the plasma table. I will be cutting 2 of them. They're both going to be for the outside. Then I'm going to do another 2 for the inside. This will perfectly match the template. So now that I know it's perfect, I'm going to cut out 1 more. Punch my hose off the template. Clean it up and then take it over to the guys after their shop.
Hear that side? Bill designed the drop-down bracket. Jesse's already burned it all out. Now all I gotta do is put it up here on the frame, and it'll go together like a puzzle. Since we know the truck's level, we know this is where we want it, we're gonna level side to side. So we know this bracket and this bracket are perfectly level. So we build all the bars the same, everything goes out identical. And that's a hammer in my ear. Sorting it out just so we know it won't move at all. We're just going to put a tack on each end. Then we'll go through. It's for the suspension. We don't want any wiggle room. What I'm going to do now is drill all the holes on the outside, bolt it 100% tight. I'll drill all the holes from the bottom, and I'll bolt them 100% tight before we tack anything.
And then when everything is super tight, then we'll weld this so we know it stays exactly how it should.
The body kit for the 69 MGC has arrived. It's going to change the shape of the car for a meaner, racier look. Max is getting it unloaded into the shop.
Oh, very cool.
So full body kit, 2 front fenders, we got inner arches, there's a giant front spoiler there as well. They call it the Sebring body kit, which is kind of at the rounded, they've got nice flares on here. Originally designed off the factory race cars of the late 60s that ran at Sebring.
This should change the whole look of that car.
You're going to cut up a perfectly good MGC.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I know there's not a lot of them. I mean, maybe...
About 9,000, mate.
9,000. We'll leave 8,999 at the purist, and we'll make this one a 101. We almost have a whole MG right there.
Yeah.
Before we get this car all tore down, I asked Tim to get Juan and Edgar to install the body kit. You know, first things first.
This is John Cena's car. And there's not a lot you can do to these cars, but he wanted a wide body kit. Because right now it looks kind of weak, kind of skinny. But if we do a wide body kit, it's going to come out a couple more inches on each fender. And then that also allows us to move the wheels out a couple inches on each fender too. That's why we need y'all to do the wide body kit first. That lets us know where to put the front wheels and how wide we can make the wheels in the back that'll fit underneath there. And then we know how far out we can move all of our travels. We can move the wheels. We can order all that stuff. First and foremost, we're going to take all the side trim off, the blinkers off, all that off. Don't throw it away. Put it in a box. We're going to keep it till we know what we're going to use or not. You don't know till we're done.
So I had to take the glass out to get to this molding right here. The white body is going to sit on top of this quarter panel, and this mold is going to be on our way. So yes, we got to do whatever we got to do. Now that we have everything apart, it's time to put our first piece of the white body kit. See how it fits. It's going to look pretty cool.
This is going to be the inner fender wheel that's going to go inside. Start cutting, pretty much follow my outline. First piece coming off. I got to get in here, cut this whole entire tub all the way, make it nice and smooth, and make ourselves a new one. Way much more space. From here to the inside, it fits pretty good. Once I put the tub in, then I'll put the quarter in. And we should see what the end result after that.
We're getting ready to put the front bumper on, but in order to do that, we're gonna have to cut our support right here, make our bumper fit. So a lot of people think buying a body kit, grab it, throw it on the car, and everything fits perfect. But it's not that way. It was built for a car like this, but it was made in the mold, so stuff shrinks and expands, so it's not gonna fit 100%. That's why we body made it. We're gonna put it on there, try to get it as best as we can, and then we're gonna body work it and make it all perfect.
So we're finished installing the body kit and all the body work. Jamie's tearing out the old inline 6.
There's a lot going on in this little engine bay.
Even back in the 60s, British cars were notorious for squeezing a lot of technology in small spaces. But all that's got to go to make room for that new built LS.
Well, it's the first time looking underneath this car. There's a lot going on. I'm just taking it in right now. So what I'm seeing so far is everything's really compact. It's such a small little car. We're going to be putting an LS in this thing. I mean, is this possible? I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to start by just cutting the exhaust off right here. It's definitely not going to work for what we're doing. There we go. So I can get this cross member right here. Get the drive shaft off. Get the cross member loose. So all I'm going to do is get these motor mounts way up yonder so I can lift the motor out. Sounds easy, right? Okay,
basically I got the transmission mount out, got the motor mounts cut loose. I'm pretty much ready to start full this motor. So I'm gonna go ahead and take everything I need off from the top side so I can get to the motor nice and easy.
This is going to nothing. Now it's hooked up to linkage. That makes no sense.
I can definitely see why people hate working on British engines. There's so much going on right here that's just kind of overwhelming.
So this is going inside the car. Don't want to cut that.
I'm not afraid to do any of this kind of stuff. This right here has made me kind of second guess everything, and I know we're just pulling it out, but I'm just a little, standoffish.
What do you think, Davey? First shot, nothing messed up, goes right out.
Not a chance.
Let's see what happens. Something's stuck. We're gonna have to pull it out like that. Maybe if I put a ratchet strap on the front of it and tilt it. Pick it up a little bit. Back up if you can. Stop. I don't know how much more I can go on this strap. Come up. Up, 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 up. Come on. Got it? Yeah. We got it. Cricket want to come out.
So we finished the drop-down brackets, got all the 4-link sets for the 2020 Denali. Now Tim's going to start making the bag mounts.
I needed a start for my bags. We put this piece of tubing up here and clamped it, so you know that both these surfaces are flat. That gives me what I need to start making the tubing to secure this. Like my nose ring. I'll put one up there. I'll mark the bottom where I want it. I'll cut that, and I'll use that one as a template to make the back 4. How's that look in the front? You twist one way or another?
Looks pretty good, I think. I'll see if this one fits. Putting these little vertical uprights may look easy, but trying to get them lined up is a little tight. All visual. We want to get all these pipes lined up the same way across side to side. That way everything looks symmetrical. Looks pretty good.
Put all the structure in for the lower bag mounts, and now we'll start building the pipes to support this from the frame. It's kind of an extensive signature look. We always take a rolled tubing and roll it from the frame to the bag mount, and from the bag mount to the axle. One of the good things about this project for me is I can relate to this. I can understand what this guy wants for his wife. She wants to have one of the big lifted trucks. And not only that, wanting a one-off custom truck, not something you bought on the shelf. I've had the same bug bite me. You want it a little bigger, you want something a little different, and then you also want to pull up, and everybody's like, damn, who did that? And that's why I want to take my time and give them what they expect.
I'm not a fan of the black trim on this Denali, so Juan's going to color match it white to match the rest of the truck.
So we're going to take all these gaskets, going to take them off, sand them, prime them, and paint them the same color as the truck.
Alright, so we're about to color match those pieces for the Denali. A lot of people think, it's white. So you have like a lot of variances to white. That's the hardest color to match. Like this truck right here, it's just solid white, but it has black in it, blue, green, yellow. All this stuff makes a difference in your color. So our next color is oxidized red, but it looks orange. It takes a little bit of it too, it's like a drop. Alright, so if I
You know, the bag mounts and tubings all in place on the Denali 2500.
Are you gonna split that?
That I got to, because then I can move it back the length of the pipe.
Now I got Tim and John adding all the pipe work to give us some style and that strength.
What we're gonna get into now, bag mount to bag mount, and they're gonna attach in the center. The same thing down here. And the whole reason for doing that is just to give these bag mounts some support. Since they're so low from the frame, we gotta support those to keep them from moving around. We're gonna do that same exact thing down here on the axle. We gotta keep these bags supported, and off of that, we're gonna build our pan hard bar. That's how it happened. You trim that side, should go in.
Now you can see how the top one's going to look. We're going to put a bar here and another bar in the back, and we'll support it off this bar that John put in, and then we'll figure out our pan hard bar. This side looks good.
Check that it?
Right there?
Yeah.
Bueno. I'll let you tack it since you have a hood on.
Look good right there. We got these two bars tacked in place, connected to our bag mounts. Now we know for sure there's going to be no left and right movement on these because they're locked into place with this brace.
You know, 69 British car is known for good handling, good brakes. You know, we're going to fix that. The MGC is what you call a unibody, where the frame and body are all one piece. We reinforced the frame rails on one piece and just welded it all the way down and around. It's really, really strong now. Can you hold a level on?
Needs to go that way about an eighth.
Then we're going to connect it down to the new cross member. Then it'll be one solid frame rail.
Pretty close, man. Like it's all on.
Cool. And that looks pretty damn good. Tacked a piece of flat bar to it from the top of the DOM up to here.
Okay.
With all the torque we're adding to this vehicle, we're going to have to add a lot of strength and rigidity. So we're measuring and cutting flat bar, then we'll attach it to the cross member. Cut one off this one and one off the other one, so we got this done. We're just going to start boxing it all in. Before long, it'll all be one piece. You know, jobs like this take a long time. But you got to be precise because all the weight of the car is going to rest on it.
All right, so I got the cross member all welded in. Everything's intact. Really strong now. So next thing is go ahead and let the car down. Get the engine in here. Man. One way or another, I guess we'll get it in there.
Think it'll start?
Nope. No way. I'll bet 20 on it. Oh, you lost that $20.
Why didn't we put jump cables on here a long time ago? So we don't have the built LS for John Cena's 69 MGC yet. So me and Jamie are going to use a mock-up engine to make sure everything fits.
Come on in. Stay up right there. Stay up.
We'll get the mock-up engine and trans down in it.
All right, go in.
We'll build our motor mounts, build our transmission mount. You know, if it all goes as planned, which it rarely does, don't manhandle it so much. I mean, be easy with it, you know what I mean? When the new power plant gets here, it'll drop right in.
Yeah. There it is. All right, that's on it.
Okay. Man, that actually fits in there pretty good, huh?
Not gonna say no.
It's not mounted.
I know better.
Man, we're gonna have some pissed off MG people at us, right?
Man, that's okay. We're gonna make it way better than it ever was with all this torque and the suspension.
I mean, that's why you have a sports car, for power and performance.
Definitely.
That's exactly what we got now.
So John Cena came in, him and Bill talked. Bill took some measurements, so now we need to get that seat back a little further. I've got an idea where the seat was already before because they're just right to the floorboard, but I have an issue right here. I don't want it, just drilled to the floorboard, so I'm going to go ahead and section out this piece of the floor, move it back 2 inches, and then go ahead and fill in so it's going to look factory. It's going to look like it should have been that way, and it's going to give John that extra space that he's asking for. So I got all 3 of my holes marked 2 inches back. Next thing is go ahead and just cut this piece out. Make a little line here. Cut it one more time. Start forming my metal to fill in the gap. Moving the seat back a couple inches doesn't seem like much, but with the guy as big as John Cena, every inch counts in this little car. So I get in, back in the car. Alright, so I'm happy with the placement. Looks like it should have been there from factory. So now I'm going to go ahead and put our piece we just made in. Okay, so this is our driver's side. We're going to use this drop as the passenger side. Make some little guide marks right here so I can cut the piece to fit perfectly. When you're welding like this, you don't ever want to overlap, so you want to make sure it's in there nice and tight. So I'm going to try to just kind of deck it down some, just try to refine the shape. It kind of blends it all in. I'm going to go ahead and use a step bit, drill these down. That's going to be our new position for the seat. So this is going to give John a little bit extra room he actually needs.
Man, we got a hell of a start.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
You know, when this car came in, I think everybody was shaking their heads.
I didn't know what we were going to do with this thing.
MG?
Yeah.
John Cena? No way. You know, you see now, everybody's getting excited, right? We've got many hours in it. In all reality, a 69 MG doesn't look like this from the factory.
No, man, that's nice wide down here. This motor, I'm starting to really get the visual of the car, man. It's really starting to come together. I can see the finished product.
Starting to see it, see how cool it's gonna be now. But that 6.2 looks at home in here now, right?
Yeah.
With the manual 6-speed transmission, this car is gonna be fun to drive.
Man, I can't wait to ride this thing.
We got a huge head start, but we got a long way to go. Everything we've done, we got to rip all back out and build the suspension, front and rear. You know, new column, new everything in here.
The bad thing about it being a little car is not a lot of space for all this stuff, so it's going to take a little bit of time trying to figure everything out.
Absolutely. You know, it's our first MG, but I think once people see this, it ain't going to be our last. The lifted 2020 Denali is going to be completely over the top. The customer wants to surprise his wife with this huge truck that can also go anywhere. So we're adding huge off-road shocks to the suspension.
Timmy did a nice job doing all the tube work for the upper bag mount. He left one piece off for us so we could install the racing shock, which we just got in. So we're going to start off doing the bottom mount, put it in place so we can make the top mount. And after we got that racing shock in place, we can continue where Timmy left off. Lower mount. We're going to get this tacked in right about here. When lining up these shocks, you just want to make sure you're going to clear your airbag, which is about 12 inches diameter. You want to make sure your caliper clears it. You want to make sure everything clears the shock body and all these compression and rebound tubes. That way the shock does not get damaged. Now, how to make the upper mount? Any great ideas, Hyman?
Make a plate with some DOM and just weld on both sides and with a gusset underneath the DOM. Something like that.
That's what I was thinking too.
Great minds think alike.
We're going to make a couple tabs for the upper shock mount. Now we're going to cut this out 2 triangles like this with a 1-inch hole. We're going to put this DOM through the hole, weld it around, square it up. Then we can get this tacked onto the truck. And then we'll make 2 gussets off of that. That'll weld off this DOM all the way down to the frame with extra support. There we go. Got top mount, gussets, bottom mount. That should be pretty strong.
That needs to be mocked up on the truck.
Time to take it apart.
Just start in the back. We'll work our way forward. Send it in powder coat. White, black. exhaust, piping, back gloss, everything else white.
Okay. I'm really happy how this thing's looking. Once all the parts get back from powder coat, it will stand tall. We got the frame and suspension back from powder coat. We had it all color matched to the Denali, and it looks great. Everybody ready? So now it's time to put it all back together.
I'm gonna go forward about 4 inches.
You know, that's my favorite part of the build. Everything's coming back together, and you can finally see the final picture of what it's really gonna look like. At this stage, it's like a giant puzzle made of steel. Custom 4-link bars, airbags, shocks, new wheels and tires, and bumpers. With a bunch of one-off features, there won't be another truck exactly like this on the road. The clientele we have had through the shop, and the names of some of the clientele, you know, Houston icon, like we did Earl Campbell's.
Look at that. Wow-wee, man, that is great.
Houston legend in the rap scene, you know, Slim Thug, we did his.
Oh, man. Sick, bro.
John Cena's a huge deal. He could take his car anywhere. But yet, he chose to come in here to get his dream MGC built. Do we normally work on British cars? No, I don't think anyone in the shop's ever even ridden an MG, much less worked on one. There's a huge following of those cars. No matter how well it's built or how good it looks, there's going to be a whole variety of these people who are upset because of what you did to this MGC. If that breaks some hearts, it breaks some hearts. But we just don't do restorations.
The owner of the 2020 Denali wanted to lift this truck as a really cool gift to give to his wife. What better way to brighten her day than add a ton of light?
So one of the final steps in building this truck is we gotta add a bunch of underlighting. So at night you can see this thing glowing anywhere it goes down the road of the truck. Better get going. We gotta pop holes in the fender liners for the wires to come through, and then mount all these to the wheel wells. So the back wheel wells are a little tricky because they're flat. And these lights, you really want to curve them down to show the suspension and not show the tires. So we gotta try to figure out how to make that work. But once it's done, it can be killer. So the only challenging thing about doing this is with 32 lights, and you have to do one at a time and go front to back, go around the truck twice. It takes a lot of time to connect them one to the other. We're going to turn them on and shoot them with the suspension the best way possible to light it all up. When you see this thing at night, it's going to be a real stunner.
You know, I love this story. I love when the husband gives the wife a gift, especially a custom truck. That's a good day for me, too. You know, it's always good to get a build out of the shop, but it's extra special when you can give it to someone for a surprise. Chris, what's happening?
Bill, how you been?
Hey, man, good. Hi.
This is my wife, Jennifer.
Hi, Bill. Nice to meet
to meet you.
What are we doing out here, meeting in a field?
You hadn't told her anything.
Nothing. She just thinks the truck's in the shop.
Well, it has been in a shop, right? You didn't say what shop, Chris, right?
Right.
So where is it?
Your husband has had your truck at Extensive Metalworks, and we've been doing a few things. It was a big truck, already had a big lift on it, but Chris said, nope, it ain't big enough.
It's even bigger?
Oh, yeah.
Surprise!
Surprise!
It's something that me and all the guys at the shop are very proud of, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Who's more excited?
Okay.
Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
I'm ready, man.
There it is. Oh my God.
Dude.
Look at this.
Wow.
It's so
That's freaking crazy. That didn't even look like the same truck, dude. Wow.
I love it. Love it.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Whoa. Man, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
Man, look at those airbags.
That's beautiful. Man.
You happy?
Yes, I'm happy.
You said you wanted bigger.
It's definitely bigger. It's a monster truck.
Right. I think she just coined a new phrase there.
It's a monster.
The monster truck. The kids are going to be so stoked about going to school now.
In the monster truck.
When it came in, it was a nice truck. Nice wheels and tires, nice lift. had a good stance, but Chris said that ain't good enough.
Yeah.
He wanted his wife riding something just way, way over the top and to give you something special and totally surprise you.
It covered all. Amazing. That thing's a monster now.
I'm in awe. I just still can't believe how good the truck turned out.
Once we got it in the shop, we put it up on the lift and just ripped everything out. Ripped the independent front suspension all out and just started with bare frame rails. Once you make a truck really high with the independent, there's a lot of limitations to that. So what we did is put a straight axle in the front and build big 4-link bars going down to the new axles front and rear. Finish it off with air suspension, so you got about 10 inches of adjustability all the way up and all the way down.
That'll come in handy.
When you roll up somewhere, if it just isn't quite tall enough, you just air it up a little more. All the custom metal work underneath a truck like this, brand new straight axle in the front with the big airbags, the big shocks. Man, it looks good.
We're glad you let us kind of have some free reign. We wanted to keep it classy with the Denali look. Bill went ahead and had the whole frame dropped out. The whole thing's powder coated, which really contrasts everything, the black to the white. It really makes everything pop really nice.
It is sick.
It is definitely.
And at night, you're going to see all that detail work underneath there, too. There's 32 underlights that just light up the whole underneath and just the whole concrete all the way around it.
Oh,
fantastic.
Man, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I say it a lot, but I got to say it again. It's not a one-man show. Without him, man. She's all yours now.
Yes.
I hope you love it.
Yes.
Well, babe, how'd I do?
You did so good. I love it. I love you.
Definitely hadn't been good to this one. We're going to pull out the engine, suspension, everything. We might need to make it rear-wheel drive.
I bought me this new 2021 Chevy Kodiak 4500.
Man. First thing we got to do, remove all the old suspension.
We'll make a 4-link setup for it.
Man, I just want to have a good ride, man.
Oh my God! Look at this! This is crazy!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Here at the Houston Garden Center today, the owner, Kim, gave me a call, said she's got a project for me to check out. You know, if this is the one she wants built, we got a lot of work to do.
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Kim.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
There she is. 1974 Cadillac Eldorado convertible.
A 74 Cadillac. That's your dream car.
I wouldn't say it was my dream car, but for an antique car, it was where I wanted to start because it was the year I was born, and my parents drove Cadillacs, and so that's the car that I wanted when I thought about getting an antique car. When I was growing up, Cadillacs were the best car that you could have, and I can't help but to think about my old neighbor when we carpooled, and I would slide across the back of the seat as she would turn corners because I think there was like 5 of us in the back seat. These cars have always been in my life, and I've always really wanted one.
So what are you seeing in this?
I want to totally transform this car.
Total overhaul.
Total overhaul. I want it to be a head turner.
Kim, this is, you know, I'm very good at what I do, but don't get mad at me. I think this is one of the ugliest Cadillacs I've ever seen, so.
No, I've seen your show. Sorry.
You know, a 1974 Cadillac, it isn't cool. But with all the real estate we have to work with, we're going to make it cool. Nice new paint, and we got to have some big wheels and tires, some 24s on it.
Wow.
And, of course, you got a Cadillac. We want it to ride good, so we got to put air suspension on it and make it real low.
Okay, I got it.
What do you got under the hood?
Stock engine.
Let's check it out. It does open, right?
It's heavy, Bill. Whoa.
Man, it's a huge engine, but not a lot of go.
No.
So I think, you know, a late model LS, 500 plus horsepower under here, but, you know, this being a front wheel drive, we might need to make it rear wheel drive.
I know you can do that.
Let's check out the interior.
Is that real wood?
Yeah, I think that might be plastic though.
And I'm surprised the interior looks fairly good, but it's red and really old. So we're gonna just rip everything out, just start fresh. I want you to be able to get in, sit down, and just feel cool in here.
I want that kind of car.
Yes. Let's check out what's in the trunk. Way better than the hood. We definitely have a lot of room to not only have nice sound project towards the front, but
Gotcha, it's a Cadillac.
right. We'll come up with something really nice, to bring the interior color and everything all the way into the trunk and look stylish. So no matter where you go, you can pop the trunk too and kind of show off a little bit. What are you thinking on color? You got a favorite color?
I'm leaning towards like a metallic root beer brown. It's one of my favorites. I love the gold flakes and the way that the sun hits it. I think it's a way to keep the car true to the era also.
My mom used to have an old root beer brown Monte Carlo. So
Yeah.
I think that'd fit really good with that car.
That's kind of the way I'm looking.
Yeah.
And then as far as the interior goes, there's only one thing.
What's that?
Somewhere in that interior, I'd like a little red and yellow umbrella.
A red and yellow umbrella?
For our logo. Somewhere on the interior in there.
You got it. We'll make it happen.
Sounds good.
We're going to get back to the shop and get after it. Walking up to this car, you see the rust. And a lot of people are deceived when they see, little rust on the hood, a little rust here, think that's it. But looks are definitely deceiving on a project like this. Oh, Mother Nature definitely hadn't been good to this one. Blur's shut good. The glass is perfect. The rubber's all new. You get a project in like this, you're starting from the very, very bottom. You have to repair every bit of that before you even get started customizing. A lot of the times, the vehicle we start with isn't worth hardly anything, but that's not what it's about. It's about that connection with your car. That's what drives the whole project. That's what drives the whole customizing industry, is the personalization that you want to put on your emotional attachment. To somebody like Kim, she's willing to go the extra step. Not only bring it back to life, to make it extra cool. A lot of work, but we're definitely up for it. We're going to build Kim a really, really, really cool 1974 Cadillac.
I don't think that's on right.
Think it's what they're talking about on the rap song? Sitting sideways?
I'm thinking it's probably the whole car. It's supposed to be sideways.
Not just the hood?
Not just the hood.
All right. Well, little backstory on this. This is Kim Hooper. She owns a Houston Garden Center here in town. This is a 1974 Cadillac. She says she's born 1974, so she wanted something. What she picked.
Why Eldorado, though?
Right? I could probably think of a couple of cooler Cadillacs to pick, but this is what we got to work with.
This is the one she picked.
There is quite a few drawbacks to this car. It's not the most stylish of all the Cadillacs for sure. Another drawback, of course, is all the rust.
Oh, the body shop's gonna love you for this one.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's job security for them for sure, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's check out underneath the hood. Show you what we're working with.
Oh, man.
This front-wheel drive configuration. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Ain't cool.
Gotta go. Rip everything out, and we'll convert it to rear-wheel drive. New LS. That way she can push the gas pedal. Do some big old gnarly burnouts.
From the back.
Yes.
Man, I really like this idea. This is gonna be cool. It'll be like one of the only ones that'll be converted to rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, with our framework, our control arms, big brakes, and a nice looking wheel and tire. We're gonna put some 24s on it. Yeah. As far as interior,
That's not too horrible.
but
Can't have that.
no. Rip out the seats, carpet, put a new roof on it, new dash. Only thing she asked, she wants to incorporate her company logo in it somewhere. Check the trunk out.
You already know what's in here, don't you?
Nobody's trying to.
Kind of nervous about what's in the. Oh,
It ain't too bad. The lot color, the style, and everything way back into the trunk to, just finish everything off. We don't want to leave it looking like this back here.
no.
Of course, to make a cool car like this, we can't just paint it and put interior in it. That's a restoration.
Right.
We don't do restorations.
No.
So strip this whole car, get the metal work right, get the body work right, and then she requested to have a root beer brown with a lot of flake in it.
It's right up your alley.
It's gonna be cool.
Right on. You know, I've been looking for a sugar mama for quite a while, but I don't want to end up in that trunk.
When I hit the back quarters on this car, rust falls everywhere, and that's definitely not a good thing. First things first, we're going to pull out the engine, suspension, interior, let's just say everything.
To the other side.
And then we're going to send it off to blast. We'll see how big a job this really is.
I just hope the seats work. This car has power seats, and in order to get them out, we have to be able to move it back and forth to get to all the bolts. So I'm going to power this up, and hopefully we don't catch a car on fire. These seats being powered, right now they're all the way back and down against the floor, so I can't get to the suck. Basically, we just took a 5-minute job and turned it into a 4-hour job. Ouch! Get apart! Get out of there. The other side was not this hard. Bless it. Come on, come apart. I hate you. Get out of there. That was the electric motor. Now, all I gotta do is take a screwdriver and manually turn the gears, roll this thing forward, and we'll be able to get to the bolts. The front seats are out, so next we get the rear seat out, rear quarter panels out, we'll let them finish getting the car taken apart, and we'll get the roof off of it.
Alright, you got it? Come on. So now that John got rid of the whole interior, we got rid of the exterior, now it's time to separate the body from the frame. What we're doing now is gonna send it to sandblast. Hopefully it comes in good condition.
The caddy's back from blast, and it's just as bad as I thought. The guys over in the body shop, they got a lot of work ahead of them.
So we just got our Cadillacs back from Media Blast. So basically right now we're just making sure we get all our metal straight and take care of all the holes that we have on it and start our body work on it. We have some rust right here that we have to take care of. We got to cut this piece out. They're going to build a new piece of metal and weld it on there. Trying to hammer and dolly all the bottom of this piece right here so I can give it a curve. So now that I'm close to the shape that I want, now I can curve it a little. Making the flat piece into a curved piece takes a lot of time. You're trying to save as much body work as you can. You don't want to, put a piece on there and put a lot of filler on it. Take it to the table, hold my line a little more, punch some holes on the bottom of it so I can spot weld into the car. That'll keep the bottom of it together. Grind it and get ready for body work.
Got a 74 Cadillac, which is front-wheel drive, which is totally not what we want in this situation. We're going to add a lot of power, make it really low, and put some cool wheels on it. You can't do any of those with this front-wheel drive configuration. We're going to reconfigure everything, make it a rear-wheel drive, so it's going to hold a nice new LT engine, transmission, drive shaft, rear end. Everything is going to go through the car now. In order to do all that, we're going to make a brand new subframe. Anytime you're building something literally in the air, every little measurement is so critical just to make sure everything's 100% true and straight and level. Once you establish all that, you can start going. You can start building, start creating. So that's the point we're at now. Everything's a level, everything's true. Now we're going to start building.
All right, so cross member basically is going to tie in our frame to our core support, and also it's going to hold up our suspension. Basically, I need to take this 2x5 and tie it into this 2x3. I'm going to cut with my cutoff wheel all the way down. these, they kind of got this arch to them. Just using this clamp right now to make sure they're perfectly even. The closer I get to the end, it's going to be really hard to push down. Go ahead and start welding them out now. Then we'll be putting them on the Cadillac.
So we're in a really good spot right now. We got our cross member all set in place and connected to the main frame rails. Only thing left is connecting front of the cross member to the core support.
It's pretty nice. Well, you can see, I took the 5-inch and tapered it down to 3.
In our battle of the bays, every once in a while, a bay is set empty for a few days. You know, my job as a business owner, keep those bays busy. Even if that means putting in a quicker build with an urgent need, like this 2020 Kodiak that an old friend of mine just dropped off at the shop. What's happening, man?
What's up, Bill? What's going on, man? Y'all busy or what?
Where you been, man? I ain't seen you at the shows lately.
Man, you know how it is, man. They keep us busy here at work, man. But I got a little something coming up. I bought me this new 2021 Chevy Kodiak 4500.
Man, those are nice trucks, man. Real nice.
I want to see if you can do some little work for me on the back. The ride's a little rough, man.
I know it. These trucks come with a big old diesel Duramax V8 with 700 foot-pounds of torque. We've done a lot of 4,500 trucks over the years, you know, and they're not exactly designed for a smooth ride.
What do you think, man? Can you hook me up? Put me a little 4-link, put something back there for me?
You're talking about just the back, right? So
yeah, just the back, man. Just the back.
Hangers, 4-link, you know, rear suspension with bags on it.
That's it, man. I just want to take it to a show it off, man, and have a good ride, man. So I know you can do it.
Absolutely, and still be able to haul a trailer and
yes,
what the truck's meant for.
Yes, sir.
You know, we got to build some running boards for that also.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. We'll throw it in there too, man.
You know what? You might have called me at the perfect time. Out in the shop, we're moving a bunch of stuff around. We're finishing a few things. This one time, I'm gonna skip you online and we're gonna put you down and get you done, man. You know, something like that we can get in and out fairly quick.
I know you're gonna do some bad work, bro.
We got you, man. We got you.
All right, bud. Thanks.
All right, man. I'll talk to you real soon.
What's up, Timmy? What we got here?
Man, Lulu, you know as well as I know, these things with these big spring packs, they ride horrible unless you have a big load on them. I tried to drive for a couple weeks, ended up beating to death. So pull the wheels off, take the hanger off, take the leaf springs out of it, put a small notch in it. We'll make a 4-link setup for it, upper bag mount. Until now that we have taken off the wheels, you got these springs in the back that are heavy duty. So we're gonna eliminate that and start all over and give them a better ride. All right, those are heavy as hell. You got it? Watch out, watch out. I want to go ahead and tack my C-notch in, find the center of where the rear end's gonna go.
The reason we're taking this section out, when this truck airs all the way out, we want it to sit that much more lower. Beautiful. And all we gotta do now is box that in on the bottom. We're gonna bend some flat bar. We're just gonna go right underneath the bottom of that frame. We'll get this fitted in, it's welded out. Time to move on to making the 4-link tabs. Get them placed here on the axle, and then we can make the bars that connect from those to the hanger right off the frame. So what we got here is our bracket that gets welded to the rear axle. Being as we do so many Kodiaks, we already have this design saved on the computer. So every time we get a truck in, all we gotta do is hit go, and we'll burn these brackets out. They're ready to get put on the axle. Now we got those tagged in place. All we gotta do now is we'll get this bolted up there and mark where we gotta cut. Get that there. And we'll have a supporting bar completed. Now we got a top bar on, bottom bar on, connected from the axle to the frame. And what this is gonna let the axle do is move up and down as you're driving down the road and let it come into this notch to give it a smooth ride.
The 4-link added a panhard bar to the 2021 4500. Because this truck's a lot lower with the notch in the frame, the axle is going to travel a lot higher. So we need to raise up the factory hitch that came with the truck.
Definitely need to put a spacer or...
Yeah, it had to be a 3-inch. Since we notched the truck so it could sit lower, we had to raise the gooseneck hitch up to give us clearance between the differential and the bottom of the ball. So all we did was make a little spacer to raise it up evenly on both sides, and we'll be able to weld this out on the sides, make it nice and strong.
John told me to make a template to cover up this and make it look a lot nicer here. So now I gotta go trace it on some metal, get it cut out, and bring it back over for John to fully weld it. There you go, buddy. Chop, chop.
Now that we got the end cut and capped off, it looks 100 times better than it did before. Not only does it look good, it's also stronger. So let's get on to the other side and get this thing done.
All right, so we got the door panels for the 74 Caddy. Pretty much just rotted, terrible. Besides that, doesn't have our flare.
While we're turning the 74 Cadillac to a rear-wheel drive on one side of the shop, over in the interior, John's shaping fiberglass inserts for what will be custom door panels.
So close. My plan, we're gonna make a fiberglass mold of the insert that goes on the door. I'm gonna take some acrylic, heat it up, and bend it around the base. And once we got that done, we'll backlight it and have something really cool on this kind of stockish door panel. All right, let's take a little bit of body work. We'll have this thing smoothed out. Got everything shaped out, body worked out. Next step is just start laying out some lines on here, draw some stuff, and come up with a shape for the insert. So what I'll do is I'll just take this transfer tape, I'll draw out my pattern, lay it on a piece of chipboard, get it cut out, transfer it into some 1/4 inch MDF. We'll double stick this down to a piece of acrylic. All right, off we go. Get the router table, get it cut out, and get to bending. So this acrylic is nothing more than plastic. So when you put heat to it, it starts bending, gets all soft and floppy and pliable. Take some weight. With that weight there, it'll start to sag on its own. And as it starts to do that, then we'll go in with clamping it into place. All right, it's nice and cool. Let's go ahead and break it down and move on to the next step. I'm gonna create a pocket on this panel. It's fun coming up with little things like this that you can add in and just kind of update what's in the car. Still using the same lines and the same idea and the principles of the car itself. Perfect. Which is one of the reasons they like the car. Give their own little pizzazz. Let's get to it. In order to wrap this panel, we've got to embed this LED in it. We're going to take this LED and...
Yeah, we're down.
The way when we laminate it with our wood veneer, we'll see this edge glow.
So you're putting down a wood veneer and it's going to look like the wood is emitting light.
Yes.
Okay, that's badass.
I like it. I can wrap that panel now.
Alrighty. We got the front half of the frame done on the 74 Eldorado. Now it's time for the back half of the frame. If we're going to make it rear-wheel drive, we might as well make it rear-wheel drive. So we're going to use a 20x12. When this thing's going down the road, it's just going to look like it's got some big old meats up underneath of it. In order to do that, we're going to cut out the back half of the frame and build a subframe that's a little narrower. It's going to give us room for those big, wide 12-inch wheels. All right, I'm going to go transfer this to the table, and we'll start making a frame. Next thing is cutting some metal, actually placing on the table, getting it tacked together.
Man, you done had the work for me already.
Yeah, made it easy for you.
That. All right, so I got my 2x3 3/16 loaded up on the saw for the angles. So if I just go from 1 to 2 to 3, all these angles are going to match up perfectly. This was my last cut. This is going to be the end of my frame. Next thing is go ahead and lay it on the table. Let's go ahead and start welding everything out. So when I look at other cars, the first thing I'm looking at obviously is the welds. You know, I ride motorcycles. That's just a few welds on the stem that holds the front tire on. So wheels naturally are a concern for me. Any kind of weak spot in something like this could tear or break, so it's a lot of responsibility you have when you're building cars like this for people. Not only, to make everything look perfect and straight, and safety is my #1 concern. There we go. All the welds are nice and solid. Got a good start to the back half of the frame. So putting the new frame in, we're going to go ahead and cut the existing rest of the original frame off the back half. So much room for new frames.
I'm going to help you real quick, get it all stood up, square up, and we're putting two little temporary pieces, boom, boom. 2x3 back here on the back cap. 2x3 right here for the front of the fuel cell in the front of the frame.
Now we got our braces on, a little bit of weld on here so all of our tacks aren't breaking while we're moving around the car. I'll go get Bill, throw the sucker up there, and tie the rest of the frame in.
Well, the subframe looks good, fits good, nice and narrow now. We got plenty of room for the big wheels. Now we just need to connect it to the last little part of the factory frame, and it's almost rear-wheel drive. The chassis on the 74 Eldorado is done. It's time to make this rear-wheel drive. This car was originally front-wheel drive, so there's no room for a transmission or drive shaft tunnel or anything connecting the front drivetrain to the back. So what we have to do is build a transmission tunnel. First step is cutting the floor out, the firewall out, all for the transmission and the drive shaft. Putting the transmission engine down in place, going from there.
How much farther back can I go? About 2.
We got the firewall cut out. Not something you expect every day to see. A 74 Caddy rear-wheel drive.
Now we got a bigger transmission in here. Had to make a bigger trans tunnel. The trick to this now is, you see all my negative spaces, I'm going to have to add metal there, tied into the tunnel to anchor it down. Once I'm done with that, I'll trim everything out. It's going to look slick. Okay, so I'm utilizing the metal I had in here before. There's nothing wrong with it. It's good. It's not like this rotten stuff. Just a little bend in the floor. You can see how it comes up right here. Just want to make it nice and even so your foot feels exactly the same with the floor. I'm going to go ahead and fill this gap in right here. This right here is something you don't see or people don't think about. Normally you just think about the wheels, the paint, the interior, but nobody really pays attention to the small stuff like this. It might take me, 30 minutes to make one cut to get all this tied in like you see right now. But it's really crucial. It's kind of like the thankless part of putting a car together. All these little pieces like this, you don't see on the end.
It only took us a few days to knock out the air suspension on the 2021 4500, but it'll be a night and day difference. When Sammy's out driving, the ride's going to be way more comfortable than stock. Not to mention the stance is going to be that much better as well.
Now we got all the suspension busted all apart. Get Lulu to get it painted. We can get this thing put back together. Take it for a ride down the road.
There's always a juggle in any business, especially a custom car shop. When you have the big, long, drawn-out builds and you have the quick day-to-day jobs, it's always a juggle to make all that work. So when Sammy called, he needed a quick job done. It just worked out perfectly where we could get it in, get it knocked out, and get him on the road. Sammy, what's up, man?
What's up, Bill? How you been, bro?
All right, man.
Good.
All right. I know you're waiting on your truck to get out of town, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, you've been a friend of mine for a while, and we had to get you hooked up, man.
Appreciate it, man. I know it's last minute thing.
Yeah.
But we got a show, and I know you're the right guy for it. I've been knowing Bill for at least over 10 years now. We've been in the same trucks he built and his guys.
It's ready for you. It's ready. It's going to ride good, handle good, and pull whatever you want to also.
That's what it's for, right?
That's it, man. Let's check it out.
Oh, man. That's killer right there, man. I like that. Oh, yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
it, man.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Gets down, too.
That's it right there. That did it.
Yeah.
That did it.
What's up, Sammy?
What's up, Tim?
How you doing?
All right.
Sammy. What you think, Sammy?
Oh, man, I love it, man.
The first thing we had to do, get it in, remove all the old suspension, those big, heavy springs that were in it. We had to notch the frame to get it down a little lower. We built big hangers in the front and a huge heavy-duty four-link with some big bags on it, too.
I like that.
Whatever you want to put on this truck, those big bags will handle it for sure.
Whatever, whenever, huh?
That's it, man. The gooseneck hitch that you already had, we just relocated it a little higher so the truck could go down a little lower. We mounted the valves up underneath the cab, mounted 2 compressors, tank, and everything is accessible for you later if you ever need to work on it for sure.
Good deal, man.
Of course, running boards. I know eventually you're going to, finish it off yourself with the bed, and so we went ahead and built the running boards for you. So it's really going to help you out a lot, man, to be able to raise and lower when you're hooking up to your trailer and to have a nice, smooth ride. So we do what we got to do. Man, you ready to roll?
I'm ready. Hey, big thank you for the guys here at the Stinson. I know it was a last-minute thing, but I'm glad that they pulled it off. They did a great job, and I'm ready to go show it at the shows.
Hey, one more thing. What you got? Got to put that sticker on the back now. Yeah. Then you're ready to roll to the show. All right, man.
All right, we're ready.
Now you're ready to roll.
Now we're ready.
And the body work are all done on the 74 Eldorado. So we're going to send the frame to powder coat. And now I can pick the paint color. So I just got a sample piece from the powder coater for a 74 Cadillac. So it's got some texture in it. A brown color and black all mixed together. It hides a lot of imperfections that are in the factory frame, and it just ties everything together. So I have a sample of the powder, and then I'm going to pick a color that matches the powder coat. A root beer brown with a heavy flake. So kind of just going through the browns that we have. And I think on this, it's an easy choice. With this brown has not only heavy flake, but a pearl also. I think that's a color, man. Sunset bronze metallic. Man, when the sun hit it, it's going to go crazy. So it's definitely going to be the shine she's looking for. As I've said, I've never been a fan of the 74 Cadillac Eldorado, but with everything we're doing to this, it's starting to look like a very different vehicle. The paint alone is really going to make a statement.
So this paint is pretty expensive because all the pearl and crystals they have in it. This gallon, just the base, is going to be about close to $2,000. So we don't want to mess this up because it ain't going to be cheap. I think just this bottle right here is about like $200. So gold pearl we gotta put on there. So this is flattening agent. You don't want your base coat, shiny, and your clear is gonna make it shine. Alright, so this is it. We got all our colors in there. Now we're gonna take it to the paint shaker, shake it for about 5 minutes, and we have our color good in that big old Cadillac. I think everybody likes the metallic on those big cars, especially with Cadillac. Having a Cadillac is like a symbol of luxury, I guess. You want to get some attention on that big car.
The owner, Kim, wants to incorporate her company logos into the interior, but she left it to us to figure out how and where to put it.
In order to take their company logo that's just 2D flat artwork and make it into something that's 3D, we have to start laying out some lines that make a grid pattern. we'll do this over and over until we have something that looks like we want. We're just kind of blocking it in right now to build it in 3D. It'll look really cool when it's done.
Hey, sister.
Hey, what's up?
Stumbled across these delightful, wonderful pieces of 1974 modern art.
I saw these on the doors.
Yes. I want to unsee them on the doors.
This was a factory piece?
Yes.
All right, I'll draw something up. Oh, I was looking at their logo on the internet, and I was seeing this house over the umbrella, and then they have the red and yellow canopy that's very distinct. So we can take some of these other features and add them to the umbrella so that we can kind of fill up the square space. I'm all set. I got the job right here. I'm going to walk this over to our 3D printer. The machine's going to come up to temperature and do its little ones and zeros. Then each of those layers are going to be drawn here and go up and drawn more and up and drawn more until the design is done. All right, it looks like our 3D printing is done. These are our door medallions. I like that a lot. Our spiffy new squares. I think this is going to look really cool.
While John and Jen are cranking on the interior, the frame is back from powder. Now we can get to building that rolling chassis. Looks good, huh?
It's really going to accent that car real nice.
Man, I love the hammer tone, the copper vein. You know, it's got the brown and the black imperfections in the factory frame. It just ties everything together. It's going to look good. Get the engine on this thing, all the suspensions, get a rolling chassis, man. Then we'll set the body right on it, man.
That's good. I'm good. So Cadillac. Man, you always remember that one car when you're little, when you wanted or when you wanted to drive or when you rode around it.
Yeah.
Everybody has one of them cars, right?
Man, it's definitely a project me and my dad had. It was a 38 Ford with a 6-inch chop on it. It had a 427 in it. I mean, it was your typical straight rod. And everywhere we took the truck, I mean, it was just a good time. We didn't even make it back to the house before we had already chopped the top.
The one that stuck with me was the old family wagon 83 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. Me and my brothers all rode in that thing. And
how many fights in the back seat y'all have?
Oh, a ton of them. Ton of fights.
Man, growing up on the farm, when I got to go to town, I'd always see a buddy of mine back then. He had the hydraulics on a little Mazda. So I was 13, 14, see his truck going down the road.
Blew your mind, right?
It made me realize you can do anything you want if you put enough work into it. You know, you look back now and you realize how much that becomes part of the family. That car's still in your family. You still have that car. When your kids are in the backseat arguing, that's what your parents went through. I still have the first truck that I built.
You know, since it got here, it's hard to think of a spot that we haven't touched on this 74 Eldorado. From making it rear-wheel drive, to the custom chassis and suspension, you know, all that bodywork and paint, and now we're finishing up that handmade interior.
We're working on the subwoofer enclosure for Kim's 74 Cadillac. What this is a brace for inside of the enclosure so that when the subwoofer is playing and the box is trying to flex, this is actually going to hold it together so that you don't end up with a reverberating sound out of the box. Since you'll be able to see it through the window and dressed up a little bit, we'll just put a chamfer on it, give it a little bevel, straighten it up. In the custom world, it's all the little things that you do that make all the difference. Coming together perfect. So, Jen's working on some side panels. I'm gonna start working out the front panels, get all this tied together, work our way around, we'll get this trunk wrapped out.
You know, all in all, I wasn't a fan of the 74 Caddy, but, you know, a good team comes together and makes cool stuff. A whole car that you would just walk right past and not ever care in the world about to what it is. Man, you're talking about a transformation, and that is most definitely the definition of custom. It's been a long journey for the 74 Caddy. Now it's time to give it back to Kim.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Hey, good.
Man, when I got your call last night, I didn't sleep a wink. I couldn't wait to get over here and see what you have done to my car.
When I came to your business and seeing that car for the first time, I definitely had reservations of taking on the job. I wasn't fond of the body style whatsoever, but since then, went through every nut and bolt, and we made that Cadillac come alive. The car is beautiful now. I'm impressed.
Sounds like I made you a fan of a 74 Eldorado now.
Yeah, now I am. Check this out.
Do this all the time when I pull up somewhere. For a long time. I'm just speechless. I'm so excited to finally have it finished. It's beautiful, Bill.
It's a long way from what it was, right? Is that the right color brown you were looking for?
Perfect.
Getting that paint cocktail perfect, with the right pearl, with the right metallic, is key to making a job like this look 100%. 24s dropped all the way on the ground just changes the whole attitude of a vehicle. You pull this car up, you set it on the ground, everybody knows you've arrived in a cool car. We couldn't put a good looking wheel underneath of it, have a lot of power in the hood, and still keep it front wheel drive. So we just built a whole new front part of the frame and made it rear wheel drive.
So we can do some burnouts now?
Absolutely. You got something really cool here, and it's one of a kind. I want you to check out what we did under the hood.
Oh my God, look at that.
Long gone is the old Cadillac engine. This is a late model LT. You wanted some power under the hood? That's it.
This is amazing.
When you pop the hood, people are going to be impressed with what you got.
I think they will. I'm impressed.
Let's check out the interior.
Oh my God, look at it.
And you wanted it loud.
Yep.
This is definitely loud now. Have you seen the door panels, all the speakers in it? New console, wireless charging, just like a new car. And you see the big transmission hump. Wasn't anything there before, it was just flat.
I love how you did the wood grain on the sides. It's modern, but it still has that 1974 Eldorado feel.
And it's all backlit also. It looks really cool at night. You wanted your company logo built in here somewhere, and we have it in the door panels itself.
Never would have thought you would have incorporated it there, but I'm very pleased. It looks amazing. I don't think you missed one detail, Bill.
Well, you want to check the trunk out?
Let's go check it out.
Pop it up, man.
Oh my God. This is as cool as the rest of it.
Right. She had to have room for the bodies in the back, so we left you a lot of room back here. And it also has storage underneath here also, so you can still haul stuff and not have to worry about it sliding around. You had to have it loud, so we've got you a 12-inch sub in here also, so you not only hear it, you feel it.
Absolutely beautiful. Bill and his guys definitely knocked it out of the ballpark on this one. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done. I love this car.
So we did good.
You did great, is what you did.
I love hearing that. You made me a fan of the 74.
I'm glad I could bring you around. Thank you.
I can't thank my guys enough. Transforming something like what it was, what it is now. This is most definitely a bunch of frames here at Extensive, but never an all-tube chassis before. You get a little nervous of how big of a project something like this is. One of my favorite vehicles just rolled into lot, the Hummer H1.
We need help getting a cage built.
They're going to use this as their chase truck, and they want it really safe.
We want to do one more thing. Oh, man.
I told you I had something for you.
That's crazy.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You know, I want something that's going to go anywhere, do anything, and not have any issues. That's what brings me out here today. What stronger chassis is out there than a monster truck? You know, a friend of mine, Dylan, told me I could come out today and just drive his around and get a feel for it. You know, see what this chassis, this suspension's all about. Trucks, what can I say? There's not a better truck on the planet. A day like this is a dream come true. From a little kid going in the arenas, seeing the monster trucks jump, run around, just go crazy. I mean, today is an awesome day. To finally get to do that in person while doing some research, good day.
Well, man, what do you think?
Man, I appreciate that, man. That's every guy's dream to get to do that.
No problem. It's a big tumble buggy, really, you know.
The one thing I'm really interested in is the chassis design itself. I've had a bunch of toys over the years, and, you know, side-by-sides, and right out the box, you take them out, and they fail 50% of the time.
Yeah.
You know, I want to build a tube chassis buggy with a lot of horsepower, big wheels and tires, and I want to be able to take it wherever I want to take it and not have issues. So I was thinking, what is the strongest chassis around that's been, you know, tried and true? And you got it right. Yeah. Obviously, there's not any.
Yeah, we put them through its paces, you know, like we jump 20, 30 feet every weekend, you know. There's really no weak point on the chassis.
Right. I know you guys designed this on a computer.
You know, this one was designed in a program called SolidWorks. You can literally build the chassis, manipulate it, and not only that, you can strength test it and everything like that. So that's really the cool part, is you can test like the weaknesses, and, you know, if you got to add a bar or something like that, you can literally take that and then extract the files. And then if you want to send it to a guy that cuts it, you know, and they can perfectly tube notch every tubing, so it'd be like a big puzzle piece, you know. You just put it together.
I can definitely do that.
I feel like that's what you need.
For sure.
There you go. And then you'd be doing backflips and everything else like me.
I don't know about that.
Come on now.
Thank you.
Ain't no problem. Thanks for coming out.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. See you later.
You know, I'm known for hand-making chassis, and I'm proud of it. But, man, after driving this thing, I'm ready to give the new computer age a shot. Maybe just this one time. Vehicles just rolled into life. The Hummer H1, iconic, just military, tough truck. I'm gonna go outside and see what's going on with it. What's up, fellas?
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
What's happening, man?
Good.
Come on, Mafia guys, huh?
Yeah, you got
the
it.
Hummer guys?
Absolutely.
That's
we
what
are the Hummer guys.
Man, I love these H1s, man. Every American needs one of these, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. They're like nothing else. But it started as a 2001 Hummer H1 wagon. So the full top, civilian.
Oh, it had.
Yep. We stripped the wagon roof off, full interior AC seats, rear, all that stuff. And we're down 2,200 pounds, so 6,200 pounds right now.
The Mod Mafia guys, they got a cool custom shop as far as just H1 enthusiasts. They sell their parts and pieces all over the world. They are very, very well known with a great reputation. You guys are the H1 guys. What do you need from me?
We need help getting a cage built, roll cage. Metalwork, that's what y'all do.
We're going to be using this as a trail truck our time back too. We want to make it rad, make it safe, and safety and roll cages is not quite in our wheelhouse. We need your help to do that.
Yeah, you're not taking this on some crazy trails. You flip this sucker over, you're going to die, right?
Yeah, it'd be real bad with what it's got sitting there right now.
Definitely. So, trail truck, you're not going to make it pretty shiny?
No, we got other trucks for that.
This one is meant to go see some pain. It's meant to be beat up and scratched, so it's meant to be like this, but we're wanting you to put some design in it and kind of zazz it up, because that's what's going to be the showcase of this truck.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be the restoration of it.
And just a cage for
the front
or all the way back to the back?
The front.
I think it's important just to kind of put some of the cage where it's protecting the body so we don't just absolutely crush it in.
Something out here in case you do rub against a tree or...
This is aluminum.
Yeah.
It's very malleable. It's going to crush.
Right. So coming around, coming down, tying into here, bolt to the body, tying into the frame, but you also want it to protect the side as well.
The rear fender. Yep.
It's gonna be real cool.
We want to do one more thing.
What's that?
We want to have a mount on the top for a machine gun.
Oh, most definitely.
Not is this only going to be a trail truck, we're going to have some fun in it too.
Man, that makes my day.
What's going to be cooler than an extensive roll cage, a trail truck mount on top? I can't think of anything.
So you're wanting the cage to protect the two drivers. Yep. Come all the way back to the back, protect the out part of the body, and to be able to shoot from the top also.
Oh yeah.
And I get to shoot it, right?
Oh yeah. You're gonna get to shoot it. Of course.
Well, man, let's go make it official.
Cool. All right, let's do it.
Coming to work every day. It's always something different. You know, one day we're bolting on chrome, polishing paint. Next day we get to work on something rough and rugged, just like this H1. That's what I like about projects like this. You just get in, get to work, build some cool stuff, and go have fun with it. It doesn't matter about fit and finish or your color. It matters how tough, how just mean it looks, and the whole overall flow of the project with a whole lot of safety built in. You know, this truck's going to be going where most trucks will never, ever go. And when it comes time to that day that this truck might be upside down on its roof, you got to make sure it's going to be safe. Man, I love projects like this that you don't have to worry about how gentle you shut a door. You don't have to worry about where you park. There's no stress. It's a stress reliever.
Why do we have a camo Hummer in the parking lot? Do you sell your side-by-side?
I'd really like to have one of these, but that's not what we're talking about today. But you know, the Mod Mafia guys, this is theirs. You know, they go to competitions all over the country, you know, going through ravines, trails, whatever it is. They're going to use this as their chase truck, and they want it really safe. So there's not going to be a roof or anything on it. So we're going to build a custom cage to cover all this.
I understand why they want a little bit of safety, man. Them guys go through some crazy stuff. They do some big terrains. They really push them Hummers. So you're building just another cage from here to here. They're just going all the way.
You know, we don't want it to go all the way back and down. He wants it more of a two-seater style cage, and then come down and, you know, something that's going to protect the sides. The thing we got to really get creative with is attaching it to the frame itself. On the H1, the frame's inboard, so this is the frame rails right here. So there's not much at all as far as strength on the outer points of this. So if it does flip over, just that, you know, connecting to the outer points ain't really going to do it.
You want it to look cool, like it's meant for this vehicle, but we want it to be super strong.
That's it. And we got a little bonus on this. We're going to put a swivel gun mount up here.
Like a real mount a gun up there and go fire?
Yeah. So I told him, man, I don't have a problem doing that for you. It's going to be real cool.
All right, well, let me find out what bay we can put it in. We can get started on that. Let's get going.
Let's do it, man. Before we can design the roll cage, we need a much stronger foundation to build upon. So I'm having Tim bend some new pans to cover the body of the top of the truck.
Right now, this is just aluminum. There's really no strength. This whole thing just moves. So we're making a whole cover for this. I will make a template out of this chipboard that's going to cover all this. We're basically going to make a plate break down the sides and also come and break this way and in the front. So next we're going to bend this chipboard on the brake. I know it looks a little crazy, but what it's going to do, it's going to put me a crease all the way down it that I know where this needs to bend, where the ends need to bend. I can place it over the top of the truck. When this fits perfect, I'll give it to Jesse and he can burn me two of them out. You know, this is one of the reasons that I like doing the template first is I can come in and make some little adjustments here, like on this corner, how the tailgate indents in right here. I know I need to cut this out, but it's easier to do it on this template, and then when he burns it out over there, I can put everything up here. It's 100%.
Some of my favorite builds have been just like this 2001 H1. It's just a great truck to build off of. Once Timmy finishes reinforcing the back end, we're going to make a roll cage that fits this thing perfectly.
We can line up our mark here and here. We'll put this in the brake. We'll put it on 90 degrees. Bend that corner, we'll flip it. Do this corner, we'll take it to the truck. We got rid of all the holes, the indentions, the just lines, the rivets, everything, and it just cosmetically looks better. But it's going to make the whole truck come together as one piece. How's it look down there, Jamie?
Man, it's perfect. You did a good job. I mean, bends on point. It's nice and solid, man. It's way better than what we had before.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know everything fits. Go ahead and start welding the corners together. First time I ever seen a Hummer was actually on a train car. I mean, just driving on the highway, we're taking a family vacation, and, all of a sudden I see all these Humvees on this train car. I'm like, wow, man, those things are crazy. So getting to work on one, and make it better, I mean, it just doesn't get no better than these things. These things are bulletproof. I mean, mud, you can climb a tree with one of these things.
The body of this thing's aluminum. So we're using a steel, so you can't weld the two together. So what we'll do now, drill the bolt holes in it. They'll be bolted from the back, from the front, from the outside, and the inside. So it'll be 100% stronger, and then we're ready for the cage. And if anything ever did happen, they need to access something, they can unbolt this and see what's going on. All right, now we got that where we want it. I'm gonna go ahead and lay out the inside. I'll go ahead and drill those, bolt those, and we'll continue the process to the outside and the front.
What's she doing? Come see old dad. Yeah. Go see. It's probably gonna cost me money. Guarantee it. What you doing, girl?
I just want to come down. Hi.
Hi. You just want to come see me today?
Yeah. I mean, I was...
Come on now. What'd you do to your car?
Nothing. I haven't done anything to it.
It's always good when your kids show up to work, but, when it's a surprise, you got that little apprehension of what are they here for? What do they want? How much is this going to cost me?
I mean, I love this car. It rides so high. I've gotten made fun of for that. And the wheels. I mean, just the wheels, there's not anything special about them.
Oh, poor little 17-year-old got a brand new car.
I know. I don't know. You see, my mom's car, hers is cool. And, you always say, you can't have her riding around with, a really stock car. I don't know. I want to have a cool car, too, just like everyone else.
I can definitely understand the age she is. 17 years old, your personality is wanting to come out. And that's just one more form of your personality come out is customizing your car. So, is this your way of shaking me down for some wheels and tires and lowering your car? Is that what you're doing?
Kinda. I'd want to, yeah.
It's not your birthday.
I know, but just I don't know, I've been wanting to do it for a while, I've had this car for about a year and a half. It's my first car. It was a cool car to begin with, but I mean, once I had it longer, I just wanted to do stuff to it just to make it that much better. I don't know, I just want to do something to it,
you know what? That makes me real proud that you want to have
I want to represent what you do, too. Yeah, with my car.
Most 17-year-old girls could care less, but...
Exactly. I want to do stuff to my car. I want to make it make it stand out and be something different.
And what'd you name her?
Caroline.
Yeah. Wheels and tires. Probably like a 22, like a blacked out 22 on here.
Yeah.
I know you like to have it all blacked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you put that on it, it's got to be lower, right?
Yeah.
Probably change the grill out too, man. Something cool, in the front also, right?
Yeah. That would look great.
Your first paycheck went to the air intake.
Mm-hmm.
You got the cool exhaust on it already.
Mm-hmm.
You already got the louvers on the back. So, yeah. You know what? I definitely want you to have a cool car, too. I'll make a deal with you.
Okay.
The stipulation is that you're going to work on it with me.
Okay.
So you're going to get your butt in the shop, get dirty, and get after it. So if I say, hey, hand me that tool... right here. I got it. Hold on. I'm texting somebody.
Okay. So if I do help you, then we will put them on there? Actually? Okay. That'd be cool.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Is that a deal?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go pick out some wheels.
Okay.
I tell you what, you talk about a proud dad, that's this guy right here. My kids having especially my daughter, that makes me very, very proud, and it's the coolest thing ever. She got her first job working at a restaurant.
She got her first paycheck, and she came up to the shop and ordered an air intake. So the enthusiasm is there. She wants to fix it up. She wants to look cool when she's riding down the road, and we're going to get her hooked up. You know, it's pretty cool to say she's a chip off the old block. You know, she wants to roll up, and people know she's there. And it's really cool when you do roll up. Somebody says, "Hey, where'd you get that done?" She gets to say, you know, "I did it." You know, be able to bond with my daughter, teach her some stuff, let her get dirty, learn some things. It's a win-win for both of us. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm excited too. You've been really taking care of this. You've been doing good in school. I'm proud of you. So, first things first, we'll get it on the lift, get it jacked up. Really, the main important thing is when you're putting the car on the lift, is finding the right points when the whole weight of the vehicle's on it. You just don't want to put it underneath there and pick it up.
Yeah.
You gotta find the proper pickup points on it. If not, you'll crush the floor, crush fuel lines, electrical lines. There's all that stuff hanging underneath the car. So it's important to find that one. Good.
I really want this car to look good, so I don't really mind, you know, getting my hands dirty and working on it, you know? I'm excited for what it'll look like later.
All right, you get that one?
Yeah. Man, it's done. So we're gonna take the nut off of the coilovers and then put the new springs on. It's really cool to have a dad who knows so much about cars. I feel like I didn't even used to like cars until I got my car. If I didn't have a dad who did this stuff, I would be trying to save like so much money to try and do this stuff, and I probably wouldn't even try. But having a dad who does it, it's really cool. I'm really lucky, you know?
So you got the top loose already? So the only thing we have to do now, there's a little bracket for the sway bar here. Okay. We'll take that loose, and you can take the whole spring out, and then we'll replace it. Right off this.
Okay.
So right now, grab the socket. It fits on the sway bar bracket. And while you're doing that, go ahead and find the one for the bottom also.
Okay. The first thing that I've done to my car, the intake, I've worked on with my dad a little bit. I tried to put it together by myself, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And then he's helped me spray paint the taillights, and then we've worked on the exhaust for it too. And this is by far, though, like the most hands-on I've... The tighter coils at the front.
We got the coilovers out, old springs off of the 2020 Challenger. Now Presley and I are installing the new springs. They're going to get her car a little bit lower.
Way down.
They look awesome. I love that they're red because it sticks out way better than like how it was black.
There we go.
Yeah.
So before we put the wheels and tires on, there's one more thing we got to do. Put that grill in. I know you want to see that too.
Yeah. You have to wait all the way till the end to see the wheels.
Yeah. It's like the cherry on the top. It just rushed right into that.
I guess. Okay. Well, let's get it done.
Well, let's do it. You ready to do that?
Yeah.
Let's tackle it. You know, it makes me real proud to have her in the shop working, you know, getting her hands dirty, being appreciative for what we're doing and learning in the process. So, really good day for Dad. Come on with it. Keep going. Alright, top. Alright, bottom. Alright. What you think?
It looks amazing.
All blacked out.
Yeah.
It just looks mean coming at you.
It looks mean. Oh my gosh, it looks awesome.
Wheel surprise for you. Come on, bring it on in, man. Check them out.
Oh my god.
The 22s.
Those are awesome.
The TIS 22s.
Yeah.
Those are brand new.
Oh my god.
Those are cool.
Those are so cool.
You want to put them up?
Yeah.
See what it looks like with it on there?
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
It looks awesome. It looks way better than how it did before.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous
too, and it's my car.
Thank you for your help. You did a great job today.
Yeah.
You know, this buggy's really been keeping me up at night. You know, a project like this, to somebody who creates, fabricates, welds, there isn't a more exciting project than this. You know, we built a bunch of frames here at Extensive, but never an all-tube chassis before.
You know, I got the wheelbase established on what I think is going to be a good proportion for the buggy. The whole inspiration for this is these 58-inch tall tires. I mean, just seeing these tires, I got excited. I want something to put them on. We're finding some military axles, and from the military axles to the big diesel engine, you know, 1,500 horsepower. You know, every part that's added to this, it just adds to the excitement the whole way. You know, it's like an art project you actually get to drive and you have a whole lot of fun with. We're going to build everything 100% chromoly on this, so it's super light, super strong, so I can put myself, my family in it, and not have to worry about anything. You know, I ain't gonna lie, you get a little nervous of, you know, how big of a project something like this is. You know, you want it as big as possible, but it's still got to be somewhat practical to be able to transport and fit in the garage, and you just can't build it just totally massive. I want an off-road buggy, but I want something that has some style and has that sporty look, and I definitely want that sporty performance. Where better to take my hopes and dreams for a buggy than Racehorse? These guys design monster trucks.
What's up? What's up, man? I don't know why, man. How you been?
Man, real good, real good. You hard at it?
I'm hard at it every day.
No, that's right.
I'm a former monster truck driver. I actually campaigned one of the Great Bigger trucks for 26 years. It's for the racing industry. So now that I retired from driving, I'm full-time here in the shop where I manufacture purpose-built components for the monster truck industry. I build tube chassis, and I get to continue living my dream, doing something I love to do every day.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Not a monster truck, but this is what I need your help with. They're all notched perfectly.
That's what's so nice about designing a chassis in SolidWorks. You just draw it, you put the weld reliefs in, do all that.
Right.
And we send it out, and we have it CNC cut.
No waste.
No waste, very little waste. Everything fits up perfect. The biggest difference between hand building a truck and hand mitering and hand fitting all this is all the fittments. You can create some pretty intricate joints of tubing and different connections that would be just an absolute nightmare to hand notch and hand fit. By doing it in 3D, we're able to let our imagination run wild and build exactly what we want.
I see the advantage of that, and that's why I need your help, man, to make my drawings a reality.
Absolutely. Perfect.
The wheels and tires are 58 inches.
Wow. So that's monster truck size, so that's awesome.
Yeah, you know, about 30 inches off the ground and about 6 foot from, you know, top to bottom. I still want that.
Like it's going 100 mile an hour sitting still kind of look.
You know, that's what I'm looking for.
Sway bars front and rear?
Man, for sure, because I'm going to drive it. I'm going to drive it.
I've seen some of your other projects and how you drive them, so yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Right.
Well, if you've got everything at your shop, what I need to do is send some guys over there with a 3D scanner. When we're done, we should be able to kind of see what we're going to be working with.
Man, I'm excited, man.
I can't wait to get started on this project. Get done with yours, I might need to build me one.
Yeah, there you go. So Pablo needs some parts scanned for the buggy. So we got the axles on the horses. We got the transmission bolted up to the engine. It's in place, so it's ready for the scanner.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, Bill.
Andrew, nice to meet you.
Man, badass. I'm really excited to see how you do this. This is exactly what we need right here. Is the positioning good for you? You're all set with what's here?
Everything looks good to me.
Cool, man. I'm going to let you get to it, man. Thank you for coming, man. And I'm excited to check it out once you're done. Holler if you need something.
Will do. So this is our A-sub scanning spray. You know, we're going to spray all the parts down for the scanner to pick up. This is going to brighten it up or dull it out, so our scanner can pick up all the detail in here and make sure we can pick up all the bolt holes, because that is super important. So next we're going to put our positioning targets on. They should just be done at random. There has to be 4 positioning targets within a 15-inch box. These positioning targets are for when we're scanning. If we see that, you know, maybe we missed a section over here, we want to rescan that, and then it's going to know exactly where it's scanning again because of the pattern of these positioning targets. So our Peel 2 3D scanner. This is basically going to take thousands of pictures and stitch them together into a 3D mesh file that we will then turn into a CAD file.
Now that we scan the engine, axles, and wheels, Pablo can get to it, designing that chassis.
Okay, so now what we're doing is we're taking the scan data that came in and we're going to turn this into SolidWorks files and solid parts. Now that I have my wheelbase, my setback for my engine from the center line of my front axle, we can really start nailing this thing down. So next step on this would be to put seats in it so that we can see where the driver's going to sit. Got to get the family in there. One of the neat things about this tube chassis build is that you don't have to have a lot of mass and a lot of members to get a lot of strength out of it. I'm able to keep it fairly lightweight, yet extremely rigid and very safe, and in the case of a rollover. This thing has got a really aggressive looking stance, man. This thing is going to look awesome coming down the road towards you. Well, I've almost got this full chassis design done. I'm pretty confident. Most all our dimensions are all right. Our clearances are right. So I've got a few more little tweaks in here. I'm going to add a couple more bars. But then we'll extract each one of these tubes individually. And we'll put this thing on a pallet and ship it over to Bill and let them guys start putting it together.
If you like off-roading like I do, things can get sideways real quick. Literally. The roll cage for the 2001 Hummer has to look cool, of course.
Just joking.
But more than anything, it's got to be bulletproof. This is our long enough to do this here, so I'm checking, double checking, and rechecking to make sure everything's 100% right. There's a windshield wiper motor right in our path for the cage.
So center to the outside, we need 6 inches per side.
And how far out?
3's tight.
It'll give it 4 inches. What we got going on is a little obstacle, a little bump in the road. If we make our cage perfect to this drawing and then go back and bend around that, it's going to shrink our cage in. So we're figuring out how far it's got to bump out.
See, we need to go right there. 6.5, 6.5.
Yeah. To figure out how much length we need to add in between the two outside bends. So when we do bend it, it's going to shrink back down to the perfect width. So we're about to see how good we are. Okay, we know it's 24 inches. We line this up on the edge, on the outer part of our measurements here. So we know 12 inches from there is what we need.
12 from there is where we need to put center of that bend. There's a couple of easier options. We could have done this. Could have made it in 2 pieces. Could have made it in 3. I enjoy this kind of stuff because it's more thinking. And me having a construction background, you always had to take blueprints the same way, but the blueprint's all in your head or you're laying it on a table. It's not computer generated. It's something you just lay out with some lines. A little bit back towards you. All right. Yep. There's a lot of companies that have these big scanners and have this that everything's already pre-banned on the computer. Well, here we got to do it by hand. Not to say it'd be a better product, but it's a lot more self-satisfying to me knowing that we took a straight piece of pipe and bent it all in one piece.
Man, that's a real good start. I mean, this is the hard part.
All that work just for that one wiper motor.
Yeah. We'll get the body trimmed out here so we can get it even closer. And we'll start building it all the way back from there. I love it. When stuff starts coming together. Me and Timmy got the flow going. I like how that kind of leans in right there. Looks good. Once it's flowing, all the creative juices start coming together and it starts to become reality, which really gets exciting. Now we got the outer part of the structure done. The cage is looking really good. The next step is building all the inner structure where it really makes it strong, rigid, and adds a lot of style to it. It's really starting to take shape. The main structure is all set in place. Really strong is adding all the bracing everywhere, the X bracing, and part that really makes the attitude come alive. It's already safe, but we're going to make it really cool and really aggressive and just look mean. results. Things are always more satisfying when you work hard for them. You know, after everything my daughter Presley's done to her 2020 Challenger, today's the day she gets to feel that satisfaction, and better yet, share it with her good friend.
Thank you for driving me. Cool, so where's the car? I think my dad said he's gonna bring it out in a second. Look at that! That's so awesome! Oh my god! Looks really good! Oh my god! Oh, look at that! That looks so different. So cool. I love it. Oh my god. I love it too. It looks amazing. It's so cool. Y'all did a good job. Even though that I worked on the car and everything like that, like seeing you, like burn it out and everything and just drive it, it looks amazing. It's so cool. It's like crazy.
Tell you what, I've been working your friends that are all dirty. That are working. Did you have fun doing it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
So, like, I didn't like the little, like, chrome accents in the front, so I think, we had to take those and go get them, like, spray painted, and then we got a new grill. It looks way meaner now. I mean, like, I don't know, it changed, like, the whole view of the car, Looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks way faster, right?
Right. We changed out the wheels and the tires. They're 22x8s, 22x9s, 315s on the back instead of, like, the steelies.
What, she had to have,
I feel like that makes the car,
She kind of guilted me into hooking her car before.
You wanted to do it. I don't know. It's embarrassing to have your kid ride around on something like, on steelies. Look like a cop.
See what I'm talking about?
We got some caliper covers, and it was really simple. I could do it myself. It was something that was nice to be able to do on my own without any help. So it had like 4 or 5 inches of clearance, like between like the fender and the tire. So like we wanted to get rid of those old springs and put in new lowering springs. They're red too. They look way better. Right. And then that's lowered a bunch. I think it has like 2 inches or like 1.5 inches of clearance now, and I got to learn how to use like the impact and the pro drivers. It was really cool. Wow, so you really got in there and did hands-on work. That sounds fun. You got in there and took the springs off yourself. Yeah, I mean like what the yeah.
Of course, anybody that you tell that story to, that you came to the shop, you took tools out of the toolbox, you got your hands dirty, you used the tools, I mean, he's going to be impressed. I seen Maddie was impressed right off the bat, so.
And I picked on Maddie the day that I got the car and everything, and she's seen it from whenever I first got it, and just, her being able to see everything we've done to it, it just makes it even cooler.
It does, right?
And to share the experience of it. It's really cool.
I'm proud of you. That makes me proud.
Thank you.
I guess I'm doing something right.
Thank you.
You girls are going to stay out of trouble tonight, right?
Yeah, sir.
Promise?
We will. Yes.
All right.
All right.
All right. See y'all later.
See y'all.
We finished welding out the roll cage on the 2001 Hummer. Now to get to the customer's other request, the gun mount. Man, this is one of the things that's going to make this cage really unique, is having that swivel gun mount on the top. It's really going to finish it off. It's really going to look mean. Got it feeling good in here, man.
Yeah, it's a little warm.
We're building the cage for the H1 over there.
Yes.
So I need a base burnout for it. And what I want to do, just leave an inch up here.
1 inch.
Yeah, and I want to bend it up at a 90.
All right. You never know, door panel out, or a fender, or a gun mount. Keeps it interesting. All right, now that I got it cut it out, I'm gonna double check my measurements and get it cleaned up, knock off all the slag, bend it for Bill, and just walk it over there.
Always come through for me, man.
So now I have it all tacked in place. I'll put the gun mount up here on top. Instead of trying to lay all this out, the easiest way to do it was just to lay this up here, get it centered where we want it, and use this as a jig. And now we have all the holes drilled right where they go. We're gonna come back and put these sleeves in the cage. So in doing this, we use the flat part of this plate and the flat part of the DOM. So when I tighten that up, you know it's straight and you know it's solid. All right, now we have the holes drilled out. I'll put the gun mount back up here. Let the bottom hang out a little bit so the nut will tighten up flat. It's not trying to crush the cage. And then that'll make it super strong if it's all welded together and make it really, really strong. We'll weld out the top. Now the cage is solid and the gun mount's finished.
It looks real good, man. I'm really impressed how everything come together. Last thing, just weld everything out. See how she shoots.
monster truck, you got to drive it because, that's the ultimate thrill at the end of the mission is to, get behind the wheel of something you created and take it out there and just thrash on it. So I feel like I've come a long ways from when I first started back in the early 80s. It was sketch some things out on the floor, pretty much just tape measure, plumb bobs, chalk lines on the ground. I took a lot of what I learned back in the early days of doing all this work manually and embraced using computers to design chassis. It's been a game changer for me. I design a chassis from the very first stick of tube or the very first sketch line on the screen, and when I'm finished, I have a perfect rendering of the finished product. All of those tools that are available to us today, and we can just create a masterpiece out of metal.
For the 2001 Hummer is back from powder coat.
Man, now it's just a process of putting the puzzle together. We're going to put all the top pieces on, put the door caps on. Then it's time for the finale, putting the big cage in here. It's going to change the whole look.
Gracias. I've customized a bunch of Hummers over the years. It's something I really like working on. Just by building a custom roll cage on this one, it's totally changed the whole look. What better place to give it back to the Mod Mafia guys?
What's up, fellas? How you doing, Bill?
Than a shooting range.
You guys are the Hummer guys. It's pretty cool to have you bring in a Hummer for us to get down on. It needed to be able to go wherever and keep you guys safe no matter what. Looks good? Absolutely. It looks real cool, man. Can we go check it out? Let's go check it out. Man. All right. Oh, man, look at that. There it is. Man. Got a little surprise up there. Yeah, you took those design cues into full effect, but the cage really stands out. Yeah, it looks sick, man. Man, I've been around a lot of Hummers. I've never seen a cage like that. Well, that's what you wanted, right? Exactly. Something unique, and not only that, it looks cool, keep you safe. Yeah, most importantly. And that is not going anywhere. No, I think we can roll that one over, and it's going to be perfectly fine. It just came in, there was just no safety features whatsoever. Right. The first thing we did is made the pans for the back. We decided to clean it up and protect the side also, because it's just, just started bending pipe. There's a ton of pipe in it. All those little tweaks and bends not only add the strength, to add that style too, and it all ties to the frame itself. So if there ever is a rollover, all that inertia is transferred down into the frame. If there ever was an accident, we know these guys are 100% secure. You got those two bars that go around the center windshield pillar. Oh yeah, and that's super all in one piece. Man, that's a lot of work to come up with those bends in the right spot at the right angle, and just to clear everything. Thank God it worked out. You're flexing some talent on that. We love when guys like you bring us projects like this to let us put our spin on it. Doing your art. Yeah, that's it. I had no idea what Bill was going to put together here, and the design really nailed it. It's exactly what we wanted. Actually exceeded our expectations. We were just blown away with the final product. Not only, you wanted it safe, you wanted it to look good, you wanted a little special request for the top of it, right? We see you incorporated that in there really well. Extracurricular activities. Absolutely. Military truck, you got to have that military mount. We looked around, found an old military swivel mount for an H1. Whatever you want to put up there is totally interchangeable. Awesome. If you guys don't mind, I'd like to have first honors and maybe firing a couple rounds off the top of this. I'm excited to see it. Once again, I can't thank my team enough. I love the style of the cage. I mean, it flows, everything looks good, and that little cherry on top was that swivel gun mount. This is exactly what this H1 needed. I scared the pineapple. Mark, Josh, I hope you guys had a lot of fun with this. I know I had a lot of fun today. H1, extensive full roll cage, automatic machine gun. Woo! That's very, very, very exhilarating. Man, that was awesome, dude. That was good stuff, man. Thank you, guys. Man, Thank you. That was a lot of fun. Pablo just finished the rendering of the buggy. This is something I'm really getting excited about. I love the proportions. That's a great start. All the notching and everything goes in this. I'm really interested to see if that really is going to fit the way
they say. I mean, the buggy is most definitely a challenge. I've never built anything like this, never built anything just out of thin air before. And that's just one project. We have the Willys Jeep. You know, it's not just making it wider. It's building the frame, building the suspension, building every single part and piece. An exciting project, but with that exciting project comes a huge workload because there's nowhere in those projects you can take shortcuts. Once these larger projects like this start rolling out the door,
lift it up, I see air ride suspension.
That's the name of the game around here. Now we can really start letting the creativity and the fabrication all come together. We did a lot of work on this 2006 Kodiak already.
What else does he want now?
He wants to put an extra wheel and tire in the back.
One in the wheel is going to be a problem.
So the structure is going to be there. The flow, it's going to look like it was made like this.
Oh my God, Bill.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. You know, we just got a pretty cool 71 Suburban out in the lot. You know, this, you know, I owned one of these things for a short period of time and, you know, I miss it. You know, I'm definitely attracted to this car. Good looking truck.
What's up, buddy? What's up, man?
You know, it's endless possibilities what you can do this old Suburban. You know, I've seen them way high, seen them way low. You know, so whatever the owner Ronald wants to do this thing, I know it's going to be cool.
Is that truck you're telling me about from Maryland?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it looks 4x4. Is it true 4x4?
Yeah, it is.
Man, it's cool. What are we doing to it, though?
Man, I don't know. And I got to get on a Zoom call and see what he's got going on.
He just bought it and said I'm shipping it, huh?
It's here for a reason. About to go find out.
Let me know what he says.
Ronald, how you doing?
Doing good, Bill, man. Excited.
Just got that Suburban in, man. That thing is, it's nice.
It's cool, but it needs to be a little bit cooler.
Oh, definitely.
It needs a touch. I mean, you've seen it. It needs some loving.
So, it's here. What are we doing?
I see it lifted up. I see air ride suspension, new tires. I see it pouring a nice airstream down the road and looking just incredible.
Heck yeah.
It's four-wheel drive, so I'm not the kind of guy, I don't like going low, but, you know, I do want it to go up a little bit, and I want the stance to be cool.
So you're maybe something worth aired up from there?
Maybe a little higher than where it's at right now. Does that sound like it'll work?
Absolutely.
I just want it to blow people's minds when it's riding down the road.
That's the name of the game around here.
Whatever you can do, get that thing right. It's going to be a camping vehicle. I'm going to ride it. This thing ain't going to sit in the garage the rest of its life. It's going to be out there riding around.
I love hearing this. You know, not only get to build a cool truck with cool suspension, it's also going to be on the road and actually being used on a daily basis. What I see on this thing is just taking out the old suspension and just putting brand new 4-links front and rear on this thing, lifting this thing up and just riding with air suspension incorporated. You just want something that when you're driving down the road with that travel trailer behind you, people beside you can just see the moving parts of the suspension.
I want them to be able to see it.
Yes. Yep. New wheels and tires on this thing, you know, some nice shocks, you know, big brakes. That's going to be a good-looking cruising truck, especially with your trailer behind it.
Maybe even put a little music in it, too. I want to, you know, it doesn't have to be crazy loud where, you know, it's waking up the trailer park. I want a little bit of sound coming out of that Suburban, so.
You got it, man. We're going to take care of this thing for you.
I want this thing to be beautiful. It might be a second trip, you know, after you get this done. I don't know.
Absolutely. You know, phase 1, no problem at all. We can get this thing on the lift, get it tore apart, and get that new suspension built. At any point, you can bring it back, you know, and then we'll start phase 2 to take it to that next level.
Sounds good.
You know, we love working with our customers, no matter, you know, if it's a one lump sum build or if it's spread out over many different trips. You know, if it goes and comes and goes and comes and goes and comes a few times,
It doesn't make any difference to us. We'll be there all the way of building their dream truck.
I'm ready. I mean, I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, so.
You know, I'm really excited on this thing. This thing's going to be really, really cool, and I can't wait to get going.
You think you're excited?
Man, we'll talk to you real soon.
All right, sounds good, Bill.
All right, bye. You know, these 6th generation Suburbans are really popular and really sought after. It's unique. It's something you don't see every day. You know, this truck's going to be built in phases. No problem. Who knows how many phases this thing's going to go through, but, you know, the first phase is always the most critical. That's when you really get the creativity started. You build upon that creativity, and it leads to a bigger, better produce. You know, once you put the shoes on, you're like, man, I need some new pants. And then you put the new pants on, you're like, gotta have a new shirt. You know, you gotta make the whole outfit complete. You know, that's what we're going to do right here is just customize this thing step by step, piece by piece, till this thing looks 100% and 100% custom. What's happening? Man, it just so happens I'm looking at it right this minute. Ronald was clear from the beginning. There's going to be many times he's going to add to the build. You know, I just thought it would be after we finish the first phase. I mean, we got plenty of room in the back of this thing to do whatever we want to do. So the interior is something we could really focus on a lot to really make it comfortable, you know, for you guys for sure. And to be something to show off. All right, man. Thanks a lot. We'll take care of it for you.
What's up, man? Finally got the Suburban in the shop?
Yeah, man.
Cool. Do a little audio in it. Get this thing in and out.
Well, that was the plan. The little audio, that's not the plan now.
Plans changed.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with the owner, and, you know, I guess he slept on it a little bit. He got bit by the bug. He wanted a little upgrade.
Well, we've got a lot of real estate in here to upgrade.
Man, there is. There's a lot of room in here.
Well, sometimes it's easier to just do it all at one shot than having to go back and forth with it. It's like it's there, just do it.
Right. First thing we're going to do, new interior. Everything in this thing, we're going to change. He wanted new audio, but now he wants new seats, headliner, door panels, and even more audio.
Sure we can make something like that work out.
I know you can. The next step, we're taking it over to the fab shop and cutting everything out from underneath this thing. It's going to look way, way, way better. You know, we're giving it a nice lift with air suspension on it, big 4-length, 40-inch tires, new rims, big brakes. It's going to have an aggressive look coming down the road. And we want this thing to look just mean.
Okay.
When he opens the doors, I want it to have that same aggressive look too.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Basically, take the same ideas that you have going on underneath it, keep those ideas flowing, and put something in here that just says, I'm here, and get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I got my laundry list of work to do, so let's get to it. All right, I'm going to start with getting the seats out. You know, the idea behind use it and drive it, not just make a showpiece out of it. We still want to have something that's going to be functional. So keep those things in mind as we go, and we'll start making something cool. One of the things I enjoy about watching a guy get excited when we're building their truck, you know, first when it gets here, they're a little setback, a little reserved, don't want to do too much, take their time, do it in stages. And once it gets here, they get thinking about it, they get all itchy. Next thing you know, here we go. Full builds every time. There's your original color. Seafoam green, I guess is what you would call it. As hard as they try when they do a color change in a car, it never fails. Somewhere you're going to find hints of the color. There it is. For now, I'm going to start with the subwoofer enclosure. That way I know I've got to have that space. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then we'll start making all the panels to make it look good. So what we'll do is we'll take this bottom piece first and just start drawing out around all the pieces until this fits back where we want it to. And we'll start building it up. Nice fit. You know, it's just like a big puzzle, one piece after the next. Make a piece, cut it, fit it, glue it, just work it as you go, especially when you're trying to fit into these really tight spaces like this. It's kind of hard to map out and build on a table, so you're just back and forth building it. Right. So what we're going to do next is take some body filler. use that as a sealant to make sure that the box is nice and airtight. And then we're going to go back over top of that with some fiberglass chop strand to give it the strength that it needs so we know it's going to stay together and stay sounding good. All right, the box is fitting great. The next step is going to be to build the recessed baffle that's actually going to hold the subwoofer. So what we want to do is we're going to recess them back inside this enclosure about 4 inches. So you won't even hardly see them. They're going to set so far back in here. So to do that, what I'm going to do is a little bit of stack fab. Basically take and just stack up a bunch of layers of MDF until I get it back to where I want it to be. We'll get it attached to this thing, and this box will be just about done. So what I did to get the angles and stuff on the baffle, they just kind of went off of the angle of the back door. The back wall has an angle to it. We got the same angle on the box, so we're just going to kind of follow that angle forward just so everything flows together. There's exactly what we're looking for.
There's a lot of real estate inside this 1971 Suburban, especially when your box is in the back. He's going to move on to the door panels.
So what we're doing now is we're just making all the parts and the pieces for the door panel. Since we have 4 doors, all of them are going to be the same. So once we make one, just repeat it, duplicate it, mirror image it on the router. That way we can set them all up and work on them all at one time and get the process done a little bit faster. We got the bottom section where the speaker's going to go. What I want to do is I'm going to take this top line here, instead of it being just flat, I'm going to put a curve to it, and then I can round it over. It just takes the blockiness out of it and just gives it some character and some life instead of just being stuck on the door and flat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this scoop bit on the router to give the inside opening a profile and the outside edge a profile. Once that's done, then we can take it apart, put it on the machine, and reshape it and give it a whole completely different look. Sometimes in order to make the ideas and designs in my head, I have to make a one-of-one tool. So I went ahead and made my own jig, my own sled here that's going to create an arc in this piece that is going to give it some dimension and depth. It's a little bit extra work, a few extra steps to take, but that little extra touch really, really stands out, puts the craftsmanship into it, and really, really makes something that's one of a kind. All right, so you can see this one, it has shape to it and dimension both in this direction and in this direction. The next thing to do, attach it to its base. This thing's ready to do some body work. I've done similar things to this once or twice before, but every time you do it, it's always something different, which really is what makes it so much fun. That's what I enjoy about it. I like the creative part of it and the problem solving. You can kind of see the whole door panel starting to come together here, all the pieces. We'll have our speaker set down into this pocket here, and then we'll have our armrest up here.
In the custom car game, no matter what the customer's original checklist is, there's always one more thing. Always. Sometimes we get a project in, it just needs that last final touch to make it 100% complete. We always want to accommodate, but that's one of the challenges of owning a custom shop, just making the customer happy. We did a lot of work on this 2006 Kodiak already, and we were about to ship it out. Then the owner called me up. He just wants to do that one more thing.
One last look before it goes home, or what?
Man, it'd be nice if it was going home, but, the world of custom, it's always that one more thing, right?
Huh. What now? Yeah.
This Kodiak rolled in pretty good condition. We built custom air suspension, made a new front bumper, made new running boards, added a new grill, added headlight conversion, new wheels, tires, and painted the whole truck silver.
So what else does he want now?
Well, he wants to put an extra wheel and tire in the back. One that matches the ones that are on the truck, mounted back here in the bed.
Mounted down flat, up, or how you want to?
I don't know yet. I'm going to get it in the shop and kind of play with it, see what looks good, what looks cool. So I'm thinking probably mounted 30 degrees or so, mounted up close to the tank, something so if you're looking down on the bed, you can see it, but not something that sticks up over the top of the bed rails.
All right.
That's what he wants. That's what he's getting. We'll get with Max, see if you can get one. I don't even know if you can just get one, huh?
Oh. I'll go get Max figured out.
Yeah, night. But
done a lot of Kodiaks over the years. The medium duty platform is just great to work with. You know, it's different from every other thing on the road, and that's what the customer wants when they bring these things in. It's just one of one, something that nobody's seen before. You know, we've done a lot of work to this big old Kodiak, a lot. But for a thing, we got to make it happen. You know, sometimes when a customer comes up with a last-minute idea, you know, they haven't been around for the whole creative process. So incorporating their last-minute idea into a project that's already been built, there's a few little challenges comes with that. You just don't want a little spare tire stuck in the back. It looks like a sore thumb just out of the blue. You want something that just all flows together and look like it was all thought about from the very get-go.
Yeah, man. Yep, I can have that to you today. That's not a problem.
You know, Max has been a really great addition to Extensive. He's been running point on sales and parts. And he's got a real knack for finding things that are really hard to get. Like one custom dually wheel for the Kodiak.
Have a good day. All right. Hello, Timmy. Just the person I need to see.
Uh-oh. I need a favor.
Well, what kind of favor?
I need another wheel.
For
Kodiak.
You have 6 wheels.
I thought the truck was done. Bill walked out there and did the old pat on the shoulder and told me we had added some more stuff.
Okay.
The guy wants to be able to travel across country and he wants a full-size spare.
Working in a shop where we do higher caliber builds, parts, everything's usually custom made, so we have to fabricate them here, or we have to source them from the right people to get them on time. So 4 wheels, not a problem. 6 wheels, definitely not a problem. 1 wheel is going to be our problem.
It's not my problem, buddy. That's yours.
Thanks, Timmy.
You know, there's no such thing as a stock 7th wheel mount, so we got to make one. We got to make this 7th wheel mount rigid enough to hold this big, heavy wheel. We got all of our pieces cut. We should have all of our angles right, so we got our spacer that simulates the angle of the wheel. We got our smaller spacer in the back, so we got a little tilt to the wheel. So when you look down into the bed, you'll be able to see that nice displayed wheel. So I'm gonna start putting the pieces together real quick. We'll tack it all up and we'll see if it fits. You always start out with the vision that you have in your head of the basic idea. Top needs to go back. You know, once you start building it, you don't want to get dead set in your ways. You want to improve every time you build something. So even if it's something to just building a wheel holder, you always want to think of different ideas. And you know, usually those ideas keep us way behind schedule. Let's put another tack on this. You know, mounting a 7th wheel in this 2006 Kodiak isn't what I call a common request, but that's what makes it fun coming to work in the morning. You know, making the unexpected look like it should have came like that from the beginning. Let's unclamp this thing, see if it fits in. So we got to cut that off so it don't hit the wheel, huh? Just mark with a soapstone, and we'll just weld it up and grind it from there. Looks good, man. Yeah, come out nice. I mean, it's got some strong mounting points on it. It looks good. Man, this thing's going to last forever. Yep, no doubt we want that big, heavy wheel on this thing, shaking, going down the road. You know, start fatiguing everything if it wasn't built super strong, and that's what we got. So, looks good. It's clean, strong. Go. Let's do it. All right. While John and his team are finishing up the interior, we're rolling the 71 Suburban right into a bay so we can get started on that brand new custom air suspension lift.
So we finally got this old Suburban inside the shop. We're gonna take it, break it down. We're gonna take everything off of it that's on there. take all the suspension out from under it, shocks out, axles out. We're gonna get it up as high as we can, make it look really aggressive, have some fun. So the advantage for working on an older vehicle is that they're a lot more simple. The disadvantage is everything's froze up and a lot harder to get off and loose. If you've got the right tools, some rusty parts won't stop you. Finally got the front off, completely disconnected, all the hardware and everything disassembled. Time to move on to the back. This drive shaft's reusable, so it can actually be shortened or lengthened because it's welded. We're going to keep this slip yoke for this transmission and trans hook.
Let's put it on here first.
All right.
Now we can take it out there and pick it up, put it on this.
Sweet. Thanks, sir. All right, so we finally got everything off the truck. Front axle, rear axle, all the suspension parts. We can bring in all the new stuff, and we can get this thing up in the air where we want it.
We tore out all the old suspension and cleaned up the stock front and rear axles. So now Jamie and I can start mocking up the air suspension. Whoa, that's probably pretty good, huh?
Uh-huh.
What we're going to do with this thing is an air suspension lift. Okay. We have some nice airbags on this thing, nice shot, big 4-lane.
Oh, yeah.
So first things first, let's get the rear end located with the air deflated. Okay. And once that's located, we'll weld a pipe down to the axle so it can't go anywhere. Okay. Drop it down a little bit. You know, this thing's going to have a big 40-inch tire, but he's also wanting to tow his camper with this thing too, so we can't just go crazy and just make it way off the ground. We want this thing to have a low stance and also be able to air this thing up and get it way off the ground and just be really aggressive. Get it bolted up real quick and point it at it. You know, try to get it 0 degrees here. Pretty close.
These old Suburbans are unique. You don't see a lot of them on the road anymore. Everybody wants a short wheelbase, you know, fleet side, but not too many people build these Suburbans. That in itself's pretty cool. I mean, think about during the flood, how many people would have loved to have one of these and put all your stuff in it and not get nothing wet. I mean, it's got multiple uses for something like this. I'm actually looking forward to building it.
Scoot it back a little bit. Let's see what you got from center to here. 20 and a quarter? That's on the money, 20 and a quarter. So we got everything 100% level, 100% true, square. The rear end is located exactly where this thing needs to be. So now we can start building our 4-link from the axle all the way up to the frame. Man, we can run a string line.
I think I can shoot one straight all the way back, right underneath the axle.
Let's just drop this thing down. Then we can hold a string line here to the center of the axle and get it parallel with the frame. Then we measure it right down here to the center of the string. So we know center to here where our measurement's at. Can we hold this real quick? Go down, Tim. A lot more of the front axle is to get it perfectly level with the back. So when you let all the air out of the suspension, the truck still sits level, even though there's, you know, no air in it. And then you air it up from there. Then you got a perfectly level truck as it's going down the road.
I like I'm kickstarting a Harley over here.
Looks good, huh?
Yeah, everything. Both axles are right where they need to be.
Man, perfectly centered, perfectly level, and at the perfect height with everything all bottomed out. We can get busy building.
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
We've lined up the front and rear axles on this 1971 Suburban for our custom lift. And now we can get to building it. You know, one of the major pieces of a custom lift like this is the hanger. The hanger needs to be super strong, and it serves many purposes of locating where the pivot points are in the suspension so everything articulates and flows together, rides right, doesn't bind the drive shaft up. There's a lot of importance in locating the hanger in the right place, and the distance in between the two pivot points, you know, that reacts, you know, driving on the road 90 miles an hour versus off-road. You know, there's
There's a lot of little intricacies in building a hangar like this, and you know, you gotta add some style to it too and make it cool. You know, the next step is just go in and burn the hangar pieces out. What up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Here we go, man. So I need to build these hangars. So make these at a 1/4 inch so they're super strong, and we'll box it all in.
I got it. So I took this, drew my box, got my measurements. Now it's time for the computer to do its thing. Okay, now I'm just clean up these rough edges, punch these holes out, and take it over to Bill.
Okay, so I got the base of the hanger Jesse just brought back over. So I'm gonna go ahead and mock everything up. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my plates to box everything in to give it the strength. It's real early in life my grandfather had given me. Then I went to taking stuff apart, like everything. I remember my mom bought me an RC car. For the world of me, I thought, I'll just put a vacuum cleaner motor on it and it'll work. That never went back together, the vacuum or the car. So from basically being young to taking things apart to being older now to taking bigger things apart, some things just don't change. All right, so now that I got these two pieces on the side right here, I'm gonna go ahead and weld all on the inside right here. So that way to be as strong as possible, I have a weld on the inside and a weld on the outside. Okay, so basically right now I made some gussets right here. This is pretty much the last piece to be able to mount this on where it's solid. All right, so got all these welded up, all the gussets done. So this is ready to go up underneath the truck, and we'll just keep going.
We got our hangers made. You know, the next step on getting this bad boy all the way up and down is building the 4-link from the hangers all the way back to the rear end. We're making our 4-link bars, so we want everything 100% true, square, both sides. So what we're gonna do is make a little parts to be exactly the same length. So when we mock up one side, we're gonna use the bars to mock up the other side. So our bracketry, everything is 100% true and identical. Okay, so I got the link bars welded up, everything's cleaned off of them. Now it's time to go ahead and bolt them up, get them on the truck. We got our bars 100% true with each other off our jig. By using the 4-link bar, that tells us exactly where our mounts are. So everything else is 100% square. So that lines all the bars, all the brackets, everything up 100%. Now all we got to do is tack it on and keep rolling. See, I got both the upper and lower link bars on. Everything looks parallel. Everything's bolted up. Like the way it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the rear now. The 7th wheel hitch is back from powder coat on the 2006 Kodiak. We're just missing the 7th wheel and tire. And then this extra large build will be ready to go home. Hey, Val. One wheel. One tire, mounted balance, ready to go.
How'd you do that?
Very carefully. Yeah, called in a few favors, but we got what we needed, so.
All right.
Heads up, it's heavy.
All right.
Going from point A to point B is not always a straight line. You know, there's always obstacles, and, you know, we just have to find the part, because when they come in and say, hey, Max, I need the part, that's what I do. I find the part. See how much bigger than you are.
It's almost as big as me.
Always loved Kodiaks. It goes all the way back to 2006 when I had my own. You know, I love driving that thing. I love just the girth of the truck and just being different from everyone else. So when this truck showed up, showing its age, I knew exactly what to do to make this thing 100% right. What's up, Vinny?
What's up, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Beautiful day to get a Kodiak back, huh?
Yes, sir. I've been waiting. I can't wait.
Oh, man. I'm really excited. Man, you came in, this thing, it was hurt.
Yeah, it needed help. It's an iconic truck, but it needed a facelift. That's why we brought it to you. Purchased the Kodiak about 6 years ago. We tried to do a little stuff ourselves to get it to ride better and look a little bit help. I ran into a guy at a show in Arizona who told me to take it to Texas. That's why I said, take it to Texas. And we hauled ass out here.
That big truck just commands attention when it drives up. Maybe a little unwanted attention in some areas.
Attention in the wrong spots. Put it that way, yes, sir.
Man, we addressed all those things. We got this thing looking good, riding good.
I just can't wait. Let's do it.
Man, I'm ready too, man. Jamie, come on with it.
Oh my God, Bill. No way. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Yeah, the headlights, the grill. That is bad. I love it. It don't look old anymore.
No.
Oh my gosh. Woo. It looks like a totally different truck. I don't even know where to start.
Hey, I told you we got you, man.
I know. Hey, I believe you, but now I really believe you. That's crazy. Oh my God, yes! That's what I'm talking about. Woohoo! That's so cool. Oh man, it's over the top.
What you think?
I like it.
What up, man?
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know what to say. Takes my breath away. It's awesome.
Benny, you see this thing pull up, it commands attention.
Yes, sir.
Right? From the new headlights, stretch bumper, new grill, running boards on this thing, fresh coat of paint all the way through it.
All manuals are sick.
Drop low to the ground.
Yeah.
Totally changes the whole stance.
I don't even know if there's enough words to say how excited I am. It's sick.
Man, I appreciate that. I think so too, man. I mean, it's something we're definitely proud of.
Oh, yeah.
It looks cool, man.
Yeah,
it's a cool
it's cool.
truck.
Absolutely.
I got one more surprise for you.
Oh, okay.
Check it out.
All right. Oh, man, Bill. That's awesome.
I know you wanted something back here to show off your other wheel, and you never know, you might have a flat, right?
1,200-mile drive. I want to make sure I'm safe. We don't want to take no chances.
That's it, man.
So this is the first 7th wheel I've seen. Man, Bill had a great idea how to recess it in the hitch. Go ahead and tie it in the toolbox, make it kind of look like it's floating. Man, it came out awesome.
Good job. You guys killed it. Nice.
Appreciate it, man. I love when we get these trucks in the shop, bringing them back to life, making an older truck look brand new. Doesn't get better than that. The 4-link is done on the 1971 Suburban's custom lift. So now we can get to building the bag mounts, the point off of which the airbags will attach. Turn it all the way one way and then back to where you're at, and then all the way the other way and back to where you're at. One last thing we got to do before we build the lower bag mounts is our steering. So we need to build our steering cross-link and have all that, the steering and the lower bag mount, and plenty of room for the bag itself. So last thing we want to do is build this thing again.
Okay, so we got the steering, everything's hooked up, everything looks pretty good, everything moves freely. So it looks like we have enough space for the bag bracket right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start making these right now. All right, so my process of doing a bunch of bag mounts, basically my first thing is I'm gonna get all my material cut to length I'm gonna need, and I always cut a little over because you're gonna trim back and cope everything. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking off a little bit by little bit until it fits, and to make sure that the bends are all in the same place, they're all coped on the axle the same height, and everything's even underneath the back plate. It's a lot of cutting, grinding, coping, but once it's in, it's in.
Man, Jamie, it looks really, really good. We got a nice foundation. Now we can really get down to business and really start letting the creativity and the fabrication all come together and make something really cool. The owner of the Suburban wants to be able to haul a trailer with the lower bag mount to the frame to hold all that trailer weight. I just made a quick little template from the other side, my center punch holes, so we can duplicate this side so everything's 100% same. Once we had the center punches on both sides, we can drill our holes and then bolt our upper bag mount mounts right to the frame, and then build our bag mounts right down to the back. Jamie's rolling some pipe, then we're gonna chop it up and then get it fitting.
Okay, so you can see, basically I'm running these pipes in at the same time. Each one I do the same way.
So I have the same bend right in here. If I was just to hit the button down, it would be all kinked, and if I just did one, then did the other one, it wouldn't be any good. So this is just the way to do it properly, is go ahead and just do each one. Every time I drop the machine down, I'll run another piece of suit to make a nice circle on them. So you just gotta do it over and over again. Patience, you know, slow and steady wins the race. All right, so basically I'm trying to make a perfect circle so I can cut this and use each side for each one of these to be the same radius to the bag mount. So when you do look at it, it's gonna be perfectly the same. It's really important, you know, for it to look right, because otherwise it's really going to draw your eye if it doesn't flow with everything else. Not only does it need to look right truck, because all the air is on this bag, so this is going to be basically holding up this axle. So the structure is going to be there, the flow, it's going to look like it was made like this. So people that know about custom cars, welders, fabricators are definitely going to notice how much fabrication time went into something like this, putting this together. It's something I really look for and appreciate when I see it in other builds.
The cool thing about this, you know, you can get lifts done anywhere, but none of them look like this. I mean, this is our cool little signature stamp on this thing is, you know, not only riding good, handling good, but to have the styling of the bent pipe. You know, that's one thing that sets this thing apart from all the others on the road.
Hey, what's up, buddy? It's Max over at Extensive. One of the toughest things about this job is managing all the builds going on at the same time. I'm in kind of a bind and I need some help. If you're not highly organized, it'll pile up on you and you will crash and burn. My love for cars came at a young age. When I was young, I got magazines that had all the custom cars in them, and I just thought that was the coolest thing, that they always cut them up and, you know, change stuff, and I was always about that. I've been in the automotive industry for probably, and then got into the custom car game, and I got the opportunity to come down here. So picked up a family, moved to Texas, and the rest has just been great. Yeah, man, no, I really appreciate it, man. You're helping me out a ton. What I like about working at Extensive is the camaraderie of everybody that works here. We're all here to build cool stuff. We're all on the same agenda, and the energy here is really, really cool. It's a fast-paced shop, but I'm a fast-paced kind of guy, so we mesh really well.
Now that the custom lift's back from powder coat and installed on the 71 Suburban, John can take all the handmade pieces and start wrapping.
You know, looking at this door panel, everything's working out really good. They got it nice and deep inside the pocket. I got one more little trouble spot to work out. We'll be home free. All right. Looks like luck might be on our side today. Next thing we gotta do, finish wrapping that around. Then we'll go over everything, hit it with some heat, get it warmed up. This thing's gonna look beautiful. Put a little bit of vinyl down the bottom of that hole, and we'll put it on.
You know, with over 10 feet of cabin space, John and his team have a lot of wrapping and installing to do. It's just like Christmas. Headliner, seats, new audio. Well, at least for now. I know when Ronald sees this truck, he's going to be blown away. I mean, it's just such a huge transformation. What's happening, Ron?
What's going on, Bill?
Long trip, huh?
It was a long trip, man, all the way in from Maryland.
Man, it's good to have you down. It's good to, I guess, to finally meet you in person.
I'm glad to be here, man. I'm excited to see this truck. Flew out here to Extensive today, and I've really been anxious to see this truck, and all my friends know I'm driving everybody crazy. So I'm really excited to get in this thing and just drive it as much as possible.
Ron, I know, you bought the truck on the internet, right?
Yeah, I did.
It wasn't really quite what you wanted, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
So that's why we're here.
That's right, man. It needs some loving.
You wanted something that rode really nice and looked cool when you're pulling your travel trailer.
I wanted it better than it was.
It's more than a little better.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Way more than a little better.
I'm sure it is. I can't stand it right now, man. I'm ready.
Let's check it out.
Let's bring her out. Yes, sir. Look at this.
What you think, man? Mean coming at you, doesn't it?
Mean ain't the word for it. Look at this thing. This is beautiful. Yeah. Nice. She is sitting on those tires, man. That is insane. Oh my God.
She looks a little different, doesn't she?
She looks a whole lot different. Man, I am slammed. This is everything that I imagined. I mean, this is just phenomenal, man.
You haven't seen another 3-door looking like this.
Never, no. You can go online and never find one like this.
That's right.
This is it.
I'd cruise that one for sure.
Definitely.
That's a highway runner.
Oh, I can't wait, man. We're going to use it. It's not going to sit in the parking lot somewhere. This is going to be on the road, and it's going to be going.
Where it needs to be.
And everybody's going to be looking. It's going to be turning heads, man.
You know, the first thing you see of the wheels and tires and that big suspension underneath of it. Got to work building you a cool custom 4 links front and rear.
The size of all that tubing, I mean, it's incredible. The strength you put underneath there. I see it. I mean, you can't miss it. It's beautiful. I love the wheels. Perfect choice, man.
Yeah, man, that thing looks really, really good. I mean, it's something we're definitely proud of.
Oh, yeah,
for
the
sure.
stance, the size. You know, when you see it coming at you, it says, get out the way. You know,
That's right. Yeah, man, the stance on it is killer. It's mean.
That's what you want, right?
Yeah, man, it's everything I wanted. I love it.
pretty okay.
That's pretty okay.
John, let's let him check out the inside.
All right, let's check this out.
Oh, look at this, man. Oh, God, you killed it.
You know, John and the boys always kill it on interiors. Always.
I know that's right, man.
Yeah, so we just went through everything, you know, from top to bottom. New carpet, redid the seats.
That's right.
Redid the door panels. We got all that brown in there. We pulled the pleats into the doors to match the seats. We went ahead and did the headliner, put some lights up in there so you got some mood lighting when you're cruising down the road.
There you go.
New radio in the dash, new system all the way around, subwoofer enclosure in the back. Everybody will hear you coming too, so.
I don't see me coming before they hear me.
That's questionable.
Yeah. Oh man, you guys blew it out of the water. This is phenomenal, man. I mean, it's going to go a step further because it's coming back to you, and you're going to do some more work to it. But for right now, this is headed in the right direction.
Ron, getting projects like this in, it just really, it wakes everybody up, you know, just reignites everybody's fire, gets that passion going again, and just the creativity just really starts flowing, obviously.
Yeah. You know, this is my first project car, and I'm hooked, man. I mean, hook, line, and sinker. It's contagious, but I mean, I want to see this thing go as far as I can take it.
Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, however you want to do it.
I'm stoked.
I know you can say Phase 1 was a complete success. All right, Ronald, enjoy this truck. I'm sure I'll be seeing you real soon for Phase 2, so come on with it.
We're going to be the first ones to have a Pro-Charge 2021 Escalade.
Most people want to keep it as quiet as they can, not Bill.
Authorized sound of Escalade.
So this is a 46 Ford Coupe.
Recover the seat, little dash pad, be good. When I say everything, this is everything. I want to drop it all the way on the ground. The air suspension on it, late model 5.0 in this thing. It's a total surprise for Ryan's dad.
Total surprise.
She looks really pretty.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
My old friend Ryan called me. He said he got a new project for us to do it. His family owns a company that builds and sells records. In fact, his dad started the business back in the 70s. Ryan, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming out, Bill.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Got this project for you here.
These the ones you're talking about?
We're going to start with this one here.
What year is this thing?
So this is a 46 Ford Coupe, and my dad bought it back in 86 when he turned 40. Tore it apart about 15 years ago, and here we sit. Same spot.
Oh, man. You know, I've heard this story a million times. A shop takes in the car, tears it apart, there it sits for years, and they never finish it.
I need somebody to put it back together.
Yeah?
Something special.
How old's your dad now?
74.
Does he know about this?
Knows nothing about this project. He does so much for everybody else in the community.
Yeah,
gives his shirt off his back. Doesn't do anything for himself, so it's time to give back.
Man, that's awesome. I'm in on it. You know, I've never had one of these in the shop. It's going to be a first for us, but man, I've always admired these. You know, just looking at this car, it's going to be a cool car, but to have somebody, you know, think of you the way Ryan's thinking of his dad, that's a cool gift.
Looking for something that he can drive to the show, not only just a trailer queen, but he can get down on the highway and do 80, cold AC.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. We'll make it something he can burn the tire. Lot of trophies.
That sounds good. This car used to be called Blue Thunder when he got it. You know how they used to nickname their cars.
Oh, yeah?
So we need to do something with that.
So it's got to be blue.
Yes, sir. Got to be blue. We're looking for a dark metallic blue that pops blue when the sun hits it. Looks a little darker at night.
This is a cool, iconic body style, but this thing's got to sit right. So we're going to start out by building air suspension on this thing to get it really, really low to the ground with the right wheels and tires and get that stance perfect. Man, what you got under the hood of this? Is there air?
Let me just show you.
Oh, man. We can't have nothing in here like this, man.
Got an old 350 Chevy in it, so that's wrong right off the bat.
I mean, that's definitely going to come out and just start fresh with the new 5.0 in this thing. Ooh. Man, when he pushes on the gas pedal, man, he's going to be happy.
That's what we need. You know, I can't wait for my father to have that smile on his face that he has for everybody else, but this time for himself.
Let's see what the interior looks like in it. Should I say lack thereof? Oh, yeah. Recover the seat, little dash pad, be good. No, man, there's nothing in here we can use.
You know, Bill, I know you got the outside all figured out and stuff. Then inside, take it to the next level.
Just taking it to the next level would be very hard on this interior. I want your old man to get this thing back, open the door, and sit down in here and just feel like he's 40 again. Because he might have a heart attack on this one.
But this will stop him taking those little blue pills, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, you won't need them no more after this, right?
We snuck you in while he's out at the races. Let me get it over to your place, and then we'll go from there. Sounds great.
Back rolling. I love that Ryan's giving something back to his dad. You know, not just anything, a custom 46 Ford. It's just that little extra that's going to make this cool old car even more badass. Most people see a car like this and go, man, look at that cool old car. But for me, when I see an old car like this, all I can think about is how many hours it's going to take to make this thing cool. You know, there's a lot of differences in customizing a new car versus an old car. A new car, you don't have to worry about lining up body panels. You don't have to worry about, you know, the hood latching correctly. I mean, you put wheels and tires, do your thing on it, slam the door, go about your business. So, you know, an old car, just the opposite. You have to address every single part on a car. There's going to be hours just getting the hinges lined up. There's going to be hours getting the window regulators working properly. There's going to be hours of just getting the window felt in. I mean, nobody ever sees you do this thing. There's only one thing to do. Quit talking about it and get to it.
Whoa! Has this thing always been back here?
You don't get out of the office much, do you?
No.
It's a total surprise for Ryan's dad.
It's a hell of a surprise.
Right? You know, I want to get this thing in the shop and blow it totally apart. We got to make this thing really low. I want to do air suspension on it. I want to put 20s on the front, 22s on the back, maybe a 22s on the front. I want to just kind of see how it looks. Once it's up on the lid, we'll see if there's anything underneath we can salvage.
Find out what's underneath all this.
Yeah, I'm really nervous, man. This thing, you can tell the body work's been done a long time ago, and there's a lot of it on here, so it's going to take a lot of work.
This thing's already got Blue Thunder on the back. Are you staying with blue on this?
It'd be sacrilegious to change that, right? You know, we got to bring old Blue Thunder into the 21st century. You know, this engine definitely ain't gonna cut it. It's got a Chevy engine now. You don't want that. We're on a late model 5.0, 6-speed transmission, new wiring harness, pedal, column, radiator hoses. When I say everything, this is everything.
So for the interior, looks pretty complete. It's got an awesome seat in there.
I'm gonna take this out. But everything other than that, you know, there's nothing there. So new bucket seats, bench seat in the back, of course, stereo equipment. Get with John, see what kind of equipment we need. Let's get it ordered, get the carpet, get the headliner, get the window felt, window regulators, you know, one-piece side glass.
We're building the whole car, everything ground up, 100%.
Man, that's exactly what we're going to do. You know, this thing is going to require everybody in the shop. There's nothing on here that we're not going to handle.
there's a whole process after process on this. Let's call it blue process.
Well, let's get to the first process, getting this thing in, get to it.
Got it. Let's do it.
This car's been sitting around rusting for who knows how long. So we'll start by getting up on the lift just to see how long our to-do list is. Ooh, look at that. Had intentions of just doing suspension on this, but you know, after looking at this frame, it's got to go. Our transmission is going to be a lot bigger. It's a big 6-speed transmission, so it's way bigger. So we'd have to cut all this out to make room. The easiest thing to do is just get rid of this old frame and just go over to the just unbolt the body, get it off the blast, and we'll get the body shop guys busy for a while. Man, Timmy, we thought we were just going to be able to salvage this.
That's like demoing a whole house to build a new one, but leaving the cracked slab. Want a good foundation to start with. If not, it's just going to be problems down the road. Now we have the body separated from the chassis. We're going to roll the chassis out. Fasten the body to a body cart. We'll send this off to get media blasted, and we'll see how it looks when it comes back from media blast.
You know, I can really appreciate a surprise like Ryan's going to do for his dad with this coupe. I surprised my wife Jennifer by customizing her cars a few times. I might have gone a little bit too big for her taste, but she's got a new truck, and I'm ready to try one more time.
Did you steal the wife's car?
Yeah. You know, I want to surprise her. You know, I want to do a couple things to it. You know, she calls it Betty, so I want to get Betty hooked up.
So is this going to be a little surprise or one of your SEMA take her car or taking a SEMA 2-week surprises?
And then I was like, oh, I'll just take it to the shop and fix a little dent on the back. And 2 weeks later, it was in Vegas at the SEMA show, totally repainted, full interior stereo. She wasn't too happy. Couldn't haul groceries in the back anymore, but I think we got to get it down on the ground.
I knew that. I knew it for you said it. I knew exactly what you were going to say.
I mean, look at that fender well gap there. Man, that's way, way, way too big, right? We'll drop it down probably about 6 inches. You know, just a little bit, about 6 inches. You know, fill that up with a nice big wheel and tire. And, you know, we just can't have a 22, 24. We got to have a big wheel and tire, right?
Something to separate it from the rest, but still make it drivable. They didn't even have a kit to lower this?
Man, that's what we do. So we got an empty rack. We'll just pull it in, pull the wheels off, see what happens. I mean, we might even get it on there and just decide just to put air suspension on it and get it down really, really low.
That's the bill, I know. I don't know of a better way to say I love you and thank you than dropping her new Escalade to the ground, put some big wheels on it, and making her stand out.
That's an extensive way, right?
Yeah.
You know, good-looking stance with the right wheel and tire, it just gives it that attitude, that aggressive classiness. Set her apart from, you know, all the other soccer moms, and feel special the whole time she's driving. You know, it won't be another one like it. You know, she works hard every day, pretty much takes care of the kids because we always work late, getting home late. We don't get her hooked up.
It definitely takes a lot to put up with what we do. It's a good call.
Yeah, she's been needing a little surprise lately.
She married you, she has to like surprises.
So what are we doing to Mom's truck? You know, we're going to lift it really high. Just big 44s on it. You know, make it real easy for her to get in and out of.
Oh, yeah.
She'll love it. No, you know, I want to give her something that's cool, right? You know, back since the beginning of Extensive, I've always kind of experimented with my wife Jennifer's cars.
So is this going to be like Mom's last car? Or last surprise?
No. You know, I don't know what we're going to do yet. See how difficult this is. This is all new platform underneath. I heard it's independent rear suspension now, so we're about to find out. With her 2021 Escalade, I want it to be custom and cool. But, you know, maybe just a little more understated than I have in the past. You know, me and Jennifer have been together since before the beginning of Extensive Metal Work.
trucks, so she's been around the car game just as long as I have. You know, as soon as Jennifer gets this back, she sees all the time and effort we put into it, how cool it looks. That's definitely going to put a smile on her face. You know, on the 2021 Escalade, it's been totally redesigned. This is 100% brand new, top to bottom, and it's unfamiliar territory for us. It's crazy how much cars have come in the last 5 years, 10 years, but, you know, that's part of it. This is definitely a learning experience, and, you know, you grow with the technology in a car, advancing with it every year. We want to stay up with the latest and greatest and be ahead of the curve.
What'd you figure out?
Just lowering springs, we got to change that out. You know, we'll put new coils on it so it just drops it down, gets rid of that big fender well gap, you know, with a nice wheel and tire. It's going to fill all that up and keep it all black too. Yeah, that's going to set the whole aggressive tone to it, right? Speaking of tone, muffler, you got to change that tone too. It's a 6.2 in this, and you can't really tell it any different from a Tahoe that's got a 5.3 in it. So those restrictors and opens it up a little bit. You got to make it look good, got to make it sound good, and you got to make it run good. We need the Pro Charger.
Y'all are definitely two peas in a pod. Both of y'all want to go fast.
You know, there's nothing available for this. It's so new, so Justin will have to build whatever it needs in these little steps. Can't have the pontoon look, right? We got to get rid of those. Put the retractable steps on so it looks nice, clean, streamlined, lower the ground.
Man, I'm not going to lie. When you first told me you're going to surprise her, I was a little nervous myself because I've been a couple of these surprises and they go off the charts sometimes.
Sometimes. You know, most of the time I would really go for the full air suspension, lay it on the ground. But, you know, I want to make something that's perfect for her. So I have Tim and Dave changing out the springs.
First thing we're going to do the Escalade is get the stance right. We're going to take the struts out, put new springs on this thing. When we put it back together, it's going to lower the vehicle but still give you the same ride. So this basically holds the truck up in the air, and the shock dampens it. So when you hit a bump, it doesn't keep bouncing. By getting a new cool spring that's a little bit lower, it's going to lower this down to say right about here somewhere. It should be about 1.5 to 2 inches lower.
What we're going to be doing is if you don't have this specialty tool, you should probably not try and do this at all. It's pretty dangerous, you know, to be messing with something that's compressed and has a lot of pressure in it. We'll be able to loosen this nut up here and remove the shock. So the only thing we're going to be changing out is the spring to lower the ride height. We will reuse this and the boot. The only thing aftermarket should be just the spring.
Ooh, lowering springs for you, sir. You should bring it down a little bit, tighten up that wheel gap, make it sit right.
Now we got to work on it.
Yeah, you do.
Later, buddy. Later, boys. Want to make it a little more sporty, bring it down just a little bit, but not enough that every time she goes over something, she's got to hit a bump or she's got to worry about rubbing it off. Now we have all the springs mounted. We're going to bolt them on the truck. One step closer.
And it's in bad a shape as we thought. Before the body shop guys get their hands full with the body, the owner wants us to get it all the way on the ground with a full custom air suspension. You know, it's part of the surprise for his dad. You know, it's exciting to get a new project in, a new frame started, and just to build somebody's dreams. Everything to start starts with the frame. Let's see what we got here. 32. It's on the money. You know, it brings you back to being a little kid and building that first little model. I mean, that's basically what we do every day. Get to bring back our childhood memories of building all that cool stuff, but now we get to do it for real. We got our measurements here, 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 and that'll do it. So I got all the measurements I need. I'm going to transfer them right on a drawing that we have on the table.
can see actually in real time how the frame's going to look. And so there's no mistakes on mismeasuring. We're going to go right off our templates, transfer them right to the saw, start chopping, start putting together. Got it, man. That's all laid out.
You know what the thing looks like? 46 Ford frame. Rule of thumb here is cut everything in twos, two sides of the frame. So we're gonna make two cuts same time, so they're exactly the same. I guess the difference between building a custom frame and an OEM frame would be you could put things in different places for clearance issues, and definitely tool factors. You know, you can make things different because of the tools. Now I got all the pieces cut and beveled. Now it's time to go ahead and start assembling this frame.
They're looking good, nice, square, level. This thing is going to be right. So now we're off to mocking up the suspension. You know, on the 46 Ford, we're going to build a two-link suspension with air. You know, I prefer a two-link suspension on a vehicle like this just because you can, on this, we're shooting for about 11 inches of lift. So you get a lot of lift out of it with a really nice ride quality. And the other advantage of the two-link is with it bolted super tight with the U-bolts, it doesn't allow it to sway like a four-link suspension and have to compensate with sway bars. That's why we're going with a two-link on this versus a four-link or other types of suspension.
Just trying to make sure the front of the two links are even and equal, the same height. So I'm putting my flat bar right here, basically as a leg. So I'm going to go ahead and clamp it, and I'll be able to manipulate this height-wise. I need 9 7/8 on this side, so I'll be able to adjust this up to 9 7/8 on this side. It's a lot of measuring, a lot of looking across everything, make sure everything's parallel, everything's even. But taking all this time to do all that, I'll pay off in the end because everything will be perfect. Everything's going to be straight and true. That's exactly what we're looking for.
As big as a frame build is, the interior in the coupe is non-existent. So John's starting from less than zero. Yes, this car has absolutely no interior in it. I think when it came in, it had a folding chair maybe in it. That's actually kind of the fun of this. It is, with it being a blank canvas, there's nothing there that dictates what it has gone. So we get to pick where everything's at and place things where we want it and do our own design in it. I've got a template for my kick panel, a template for the door panel, and for the rear quarter panel. Everything's marked off where they line up together in the car so that everything has the same height that I need, so I can sketch this out to get all my patterns laid out so that everything will fit. Bill's thought and his idea is he wants Dad to get in his car and sit down and feel like he's still in his old hot rod. He doesn't want anything too new and too outlandish in this. He wants nice, clean, subtle lines in this. We want to get this thing just a nice, clean, classy feel so when he sits in it, he can feel like he's back in the old days. It's kind of one of those great things working around here. A lot of times we're just given free will to do whatever we want. So to be able to sit down and think it out and dream up something just different than everybody else's is really what makes this job so much fun. All the way from the beginning aspect, all the way to the headaches that you have, all the way to the end of it until it's finished. Every bit of it makes it fun because you get to design everything from your own ideas and your own perspectives. Erase, delete. Good thing about these sketches is it's all fluid, so it's constantly changing, so you're never stuck to one thing if you got an eraser. And that's going to be a tall ridge here. So this is our insert fabric that we're going to use just for our accent color. That's going to be going here in our doors and also here. Plus we'll have it worked into the seats, so it's just that little extra pop just so it's not all the same fabric in the whole car. So now it's time to bring Blue Thunder back to life. We got
the stance on my wife's 21 Escalade just right. Now I want to give it a better overall tone.
Bill wants to get rid of this stock muffler. It works from the factory. Most people want to keep it as quiet as they can. Not Bill. It doesn't have the rumble he's looking for. The record. You know, this new muffler flows a lot better than the factory does. You get a little throatier sound. Jennifer's going to love it. So what school teacher wouldn't love pulling up your parking lot with a hot rod sounding Escalade? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and tack this first one. That way I can make sure it's square with the frame this way. Then I'll know, not only do I need this to go over, I also need it to come down. So it's got to be like a 45 down and 45 over to one direction. Basically what I'm doing right now is trying to figure out a little jig so I know how to bend it. So I don't have to make 52 trips to the truck and back. I can just make me a little deal here. So I measure from this line down is 2 inches. So if I take 2 inches out of this right here, it should give me exactly what I need. According to the jig, this should flow exactly where I need it. Give me an exact angle this way and this way. When it fits good, now I do is weld it up. Bill's wife's got a brand new sports car sounding Escalade.
My wife's a little like me. She likes to give her vehicles a little extra horsepower. So I asked Justin to add a Pro Charger. Because this truck is so new, he's going to have to figure out the whole setup.
It's pretty neat that we're going to be the first ones to have a Pro Charge 2021 Escalade. Like, nobody's worked on one of these. Like, they don't make a kit out for it yet, so we're going to come up with we should see anywhere between 150 to 200 extra rear wheel horsepower on this thing once we get it tuned. We're going to try to squeeze the intercooler through here without removing the grill. So this one here is their what you would call like a stage 2 intercooler. So if you look at the thickness of the core, it's about a ½ inch wider than the one that would come in your base model kit. This one here is going to provide a lot better cooling for the extra air we're about to shove in this motor. We're running into clearance issues, these air louvers right here. So since it's such a large intercooler and such a tight space, to be on the safe side, instead of trying to force it in there, we're going to go ahead and remove the bumper and remove the support so that we can just drop it right into place. With this being a 2021, it's the first time pulling one of these bumpers off, so it can be a little time consuming. You know, you don't want to get in a hurry. You want to make sure that, you know, you get all the hardware out. You know, it's easy to, you know, miss a bolt here and there. And the last thing you want to do is piss off Bill's wife. So we need to make sure that we take our time and do it right the first time. There we go.
Just to fit the brackets on the supercharger. It's taking a bit more work, but it'll all be worth it in the end.
So that's what happens when you're dealing with a new vehicle. Something, you know, seems as simple as taking a bumper off can eat up most of your time. So this here is our supercharger. It's the P1X, their high output version. So now that we have the blower installed, all we gotta do is connect from our blower to our intercooler, from our intercooler to our throttle body. So the reason we use the rubber couplers instead of everything hardline is because you have vibrations of the motor, and whenever it torques over, it'll want to move. So you need to have movement. So that's why we're going with all these rubber couplers. So right now we're putting the belt on. We're trying to adjust the tensioner to make sure that we have the most amount of tension, but also where the tensioner is within range, because you don't want it maxed out where it's too tight, where the tensioner is not doing its job, and at the same time you don't want it too loose. So we're just fine tuning it right now to make sure we have it set right. The next step is to get our fan shroud back in. Once our fan shroud goes back in, then we get to start doing some of the custom piping and getting this thing wrapped up.
We have the rear suspension on the coupe all mocked up. Now we can make the custom bag mounts.
Just block it back to it.
even something just as simple as a gusset for the upper bag mount. I mean, somebody just looking at it just looks like a piece of pipe we busted. You got to take into consideration where the shock's going to be, where the differential's going to be, where the air fitting's going to be. You want to make sure it's right. You want to take your time to notch it right, cope it right, sand it right, and attach it right. Done daily. On this particular chassis, we're going to use a diagonal link, which mounts the fixed point of the frame over to the moving part of the suspension itself, and it keeps everything 100% true all the way up, all the way down. There's no deflection of that whatsoever. We're able to build that into this suspension because there's nothing in the way. A lot of the times there'll be a gas tank in the way or exhaust in the way, or a lot of things could be in the way once you're building a suspension around something that's already there. The advantage of this is it's going to stay nice, true, straight up and down, and perfect.
Back in 46, these coupes didn't have much of a speaker system, so John's going to bring the audio into this century, but he's also going to keep it with his classic look.
It didn't have subwoofers in 46, so what we're going to do is actually take and disguise that subwoofer. So basically, when you pop the trunk and look in, all you'll see sitting there is a suitcase and think it's a piece of luggage. You'll never even know that it's a subwoofer. For the corners of the suitcase, I want them to be rounded, so in order to do that, I'm going to take the PVC and cut it into quarters. That way I can use those as the corners of the box and then just glass them from the inside. It's kind of like making oatmeal. Put a little water in your bowl, put a little bit of oatmeal in there, stir it up. You don't want your oatmeal too lumpy. Martha Stewart, eat your heart out. All we're doing with this is just reinforcing our PVC corners. So the first step we're going to take to make this thing look like a suitcase, we're going to use a scoop bit. We're going to run around the outside edge of the top, a little bit on the bottom, nice rounded over corner, so we can do the body work. Take this fiberglass filler here, hit my outside corners, get them smoothed in. Just got to give these corners a little bit of love, get good round and smooth. Next thing we'll do, cut some lines in this, put some grooves in it. Don't mess it up. Really got to take our time to make sure we don't screw this up. And it could turn into a whole remake, and ain't nobody got time for that. I have confidence in myself. Oh God, I moved it. We'll also have to add a groove to the top edge and the bottom edge for all the material to roll into. So we're just going to take and work our way around the box, rolling it, flipping it to get our groove in it. All right, now that we've got all the grooves cut in it, this thing's really starting to look like a suitcase. So the next thing I gotta do, just sit down, do a little bit of detail sanding on it. This thing will be ready to wrap.
Custom frame and suspension for the 46 Ford on the table. Now it's time to get it up underneath the body. Under's coming along. I mean, it's really starting to take shape. We got all the old yuckiness out. So from the firewall back, 100% true, square, straight. But I found the easiest way to build chassis like this is locating the front cross member. Once that's located, you know the height you want, that locates our wheelbase.
Well, 141 and 3/4 or 16 too far.
Hammer's right there. That's it. So we have this dead center of the fender wells. Now that we have our front end on, we know where that center is. Next step is just connecting the cross member all the way down the frame. This car is going to run unbelievable, ride really good, and really low. It's at the perfect stage to really start creating. You know, exactly what we need to install the Pro Charger. But with the 21 Escalade being so new, Justin has to reinvent the entire wheel on this one.
So with the supercharger, we're gonna have pressure inside the pipe, and the last thing we want to do is we're putting a bead roll on the end of the pipe so that the silicone coupler, whenever we clamp it, doesn't want to slide off under boost. This is the flange for the blow-off valve. Typically, it would tie back into the inlet pipe to the supercharger. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna vent it to the atmosphere so we got that cool swishing sound. Now we got our 3.5-inch aluminum prep. We got our hole drill for our mass airflow sensor flange. The mass air and the O2 sensors work together, so if we dump off any air to the atmosphere, throw off our O2 sensors and the computer won't read right. So now that we have our blow-off valve flange on, our mass air flange on, and our extension piece that goes into our coupler, now we can go install it on the vehicle. Go ahead and pre-install our new blow-off valve. They actually sound better on supercharged cars because on a turbo car, they only open up under like acceleration. On a supercharged car, it's the opposite. It's open all the time until you give it gas and then it'll close. And that's how you kind of hear more of that swishing sound. So now that we got the flange welded on, we got the 2 screws to hold in our sensor into our piping just like we wanted. We can install our charge pipe and put some clamps on, and Life's definitely gonna have the fastest SUV in the faculty parking lot now.
The best days at work are always with a dog. If I do set up a table for me, and this guy happens to use it for a bed, I'll put my stuff on the floor. You should just lay there and do nothing. I gotta go work. Look at this 2021 Escalade in the shop. It's already a good looking truck. It was good looking off the factory floor. But Bill being Bill, it always needs something. These steps just aren't going to cut it. So he wants a retractable step. When you open the door, it folds down. When you shut the door, this will tuck back up, fold away, and you'll never see the step at all. It's going to make it look sleek, and it gives it a custom touch. First step we're going to do, just unbolt the old step, take it completely off, get it out of the way, and then we'll start with the new one. This motor here will go to a door pan. When the door opens, it lets us know this needs to come down. When the door shuts, it retracts this back up. See how hands-on my helper is? It's a good helper right there. The new plastics have a little indentation right here, so when this folds up, it tucks right in tight and it makes it disappear. Now we have the plastics on there that allow the step to go up and it'll fold right with the new plastic. It looks better, it functions better, and it's easier for little ones or old ones to get in and out.
You know, I'd be lying if I wasn't a little nervous to see what Jennifer thinks. But I think this time, we nailed it. You know, her Escalade's still classy, but custom, just the way she likes it. You know, well, I hope. As you know, I got a long history of customizing cars, and something you might not know, I have a long history of customizing my wife's cars too. The thing I got her was a Cadillac SRX. Took it to the Las Vegas SEMA show and killed it. The bad part about it was getting it home. It had so many speakers, there was no place to put the groceries, so she hated it. Every time I cut into one of my wife's cars, I'll always have the best intentions. I always want riding around in. You know, that's the feeling I get when I drive around in a cool car. I want her to have that same feeling. You know, my wife driving a totally bone stock car, it hurts. It hurts seeing that. It's kind of like, you know, if I was a roofer, my roof was leaking, that's something you just can't have. You know, I've been known to maybe go a little overboard here and there, but you know, one of these days I'm gonna come up with that perfect combination for her that she's just gonna totally love. Thank you for lunch.
No problem.
Thank you. Hey, I want to tell you something.
Remember, I took the Cadillac in, had a recall, and I took it from you? It didn't really have a recall. I want to surprise you with something special. So I took Betty, and I've done a couple things to her to make her stand out.
Like?
Well, you're about to see. You ready? You excited?
No.
Timmy's going to bring it around right now.
This is not the first time that Bill's taken one of my cars. We've had some cars where he has taken them and he's done things to them and they have not turned out well. That's a little stressful for me. Okay, so not so bad. I'm very proud. I appreciate you listening. It looks awesome.
Surprise!
Yeah, no. Beautiful.
Are you pleasantly surprised?
I'm pleasantly surprised. Thank you. I'm pleasantly surprised. She looks beautiful.
So I did good?
So far. I don't know. There might be more. I don't know. From what I can see right here, yes.
There's a little more.
She rides the same.
Better. The first thing you notice when coming down the road, Betty just looked way too tall. So what we had to do is get it in the shop, and we changed out the springs. Took it all apart, took the cool springs out and replaced it with the shorter spring to give it that low stance, to get rid of that fender well gap. And, you got it all blacked out already. You had to have the black wheels.
Of course. If I had to pick wheels, that would be something that I would pick. They're very clean, very pretty, very nice.
Yeah. And it's still going to retain that factory Cadillac ride. Classy.
Oh, the runners. Oh, I knew you were going to do that. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful.
Can't have that old pontoon look, just to give it that clean, streamlined look.
I'm going to cry.
After 28 years together, every once in a while you got to show your appreciation, right? And you show your appreciation in giving your wife something really cool to drive.
You did good. You did good. I will never say it again.
I was surprised as you were when Bill said, nope, we're going to go just a couple mods on this one.
They haven't always turned out as well.
Let's check out under the hood. I got a little surprise under there for you.
Okay. Oh, wow.
They don't make a kit for this. So Justin adapted everything and made the whole Pro Charger work on this.
So all this is custom?
Yep. Every bit. It runs real good.
It's very nice.
You're about 620 horsepower now. So Betty is going to get it. You're definitely going to make up some time and have plenty of extra leisure time now.
Cool.
I knew you were going to love it.
Yep, it's awesome. It sounded pretty.
Yeah, it sounds good. It had a little whistle to it. You needed that. Just way too quiet from the factory. Looking at it, it's got to have a little deeper tone to the exhaust, so you get that whole attitude. When you roll up...
Oh, she's definitely going to draw some attention.
Most definitely.
It's nice.
I'm glad you like it. I think we did good. If she was making this car herself, I think we gave her exactly what she...
This is really nice. You did a great job, and I'm very flattered. And all the other teachers are going to be really jealous. Beautiful.
Just like you.
Oh, my gosh.
Cool. What we got is a 2017 F-150 pull-out with this engine. The 5.0 Coyote is a great platform for making a lot of power. We're going to change a couple things. We're going to change intake, put headers on it, and with the tune and E85, it should make about an extra 100 rear-wheel horsepower. So this thing's going to make plenty of power for old Coop. How do you start stretching every day, all day? On the really big jobs like the 46 Coupe, you just know it's going to be a marathon.
So we're stripping down the engine, taking all the old stuff off, stuff we're not going to use.
Every step you take, there's 100 more to go. We like to recycle. Just like going to pick up old dogs, we get old motors. We got a good steering. Next step's finishing up the front suspension. Keep going on the body work and make that interior all from scratch. But man, once Ryan's dad sees Old Blue Thunder, this is